Welcome, everybody, to the Shipwreck Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Bobby Ship, and today we got a real exciting show in store. We have the question. To be honest, I had a little bit of podcast block. I wanted to go into different subjects, and I didn't know where to go and everything. But I did know I wanted to bring these two young brothers on because they are very intriguing to talk to be honest with you. And the Shipwreck Podcast, we're here for education. We're here for, you know, therapy for ourselves and others. And we're here to learn and get it all together. And so to have Ruben on right now, we're still waiting for our other guest to come on. Um, it'll be a really outstanding talk because these two young brothers are very intelligent and they know why they did what they did, which was honestly vote for Trump. And but they're on the two opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm really looking forward to having this talk with them. I want, the pod is always open to each and everyone to come on and listen and talk as well. Um, so but before we get started, I do have a video. It's a little 8-minute video. It's the only one that I have today because the question, like I said, the pod is about these two young brothers, but more importantly, the pod is about: are we throwing our vote away? Are the Democrats not appreciating the black vote anymore? Because these are two young black brothers that voted for Democrats, but I'm sorry, that voted for Republicans, voted for Trump. So I wanted to pick their brains to see why they did that once again, and for them to talk to each other, to be honest, as well. For them two being on the opposite ends of the spectrum. And so, um, yeah, we're going to start with the video, and then go from there. So let's go. We're here to educate. We're here to learn. We're here to be together as a family. Let's go.
Oh, wow. I've talked about this a lot, but I'll try and give you a brief history. So let me try and make it as plain as possible. Anthony, thank you for your question. Black folks, of course, began as Republicans. After the Civil War, the majority of black folks were Republicans. Sadly, black women couldn't vote. You have folks like Frederick Douglass and Bishop Henry McNeil Turner and Hiram Revels and Blanche Bruce. And they were supporting the Republican Party because that was the party that slavery it was ended under the Republican Party. Now, of course, Abraham Lincoln was hesitant when it came to slavery. He was forced into glory, as they say, but that's a whole other story. But as time went on, towards the end of Reconstruction, which is around it ends, I believe, in 1877 with the Compromise of 1877, the Republican Party was already turning their backs on black people. They were stabbing black folks in the back, including a guy who I do like, President. I like to some degree President Grant. They were tired of having federal troops down in the South to protect black folks from white violence. I know we often hear about Tulsa, we often hear about Rosewood, but there was countless black towns and communities that are being burnt to the ground via white violence. I encourage you to look up the 1875 plan in Mississippi, where they basically kicked out the black elected officials and took it over. But let's fast forward. Black folks still hold on to the GOP. They're standing by the GOP. Then we get to the 1950s, brother. And in the 1950s, you see the Republican Party. Let's talk about region. You see Southerners transitioning to the Republican Party. Southerners. So it isn't always about the D or the R. It's
Yeah.
about the region. And then when you have Lyndon B. Johnson and JFK to some degree putting in these civil rights laws, they basically lose. They lose the South completely, the Democratic Party. And I'm going to give you a quote from Senator Edward Brooke. He was the first black senator elected in 1967. The first two were appointed. This is a black Republican, Anthony. He says, I'm sorry, he says this in 1964 because he sees this split happening. Senator Edward Brooke says, you can't say the Negro left the Republican Party. The Negro feels he was evicted from the Republican Party, right? How are they evicted? Look at the 1964 RNC convention when Jackie Robinson compares it to Hitler's Germany, to Hitler's Germany, saying that folks were being called the N word, black folks were not being allowed to talk. There's a great guy named George W. Lee who was a longtime black Republican, and he wasn't allowed to speak. And there was these proclamations that this is now the white man's party.
Mm.
And Dr. King talks about this. He says this in an episode of Face the Nation, where he says that he is scared to see the Republican Party turning into the white man's party. The power players, Strom Thurmond, Barry Goldwater, Richard Nixon, they made a decision. This will be the party of the Southern strategy. What's the last of the Southern strategy? It was an execution to play on white fears, white racist fears, to get that Southern vote. That
Mm-hmm.
was the Southern strategy. And they didn't want the black vote anymore. So black folks were kicked out locally, and they were kicked out in their city council, their school board. The Republican Party took over. And the mark of that is where we are today. That's where
Mm-hmm.
we are today. So that quote from a black Republican is so crucial. The Negro was evicted from the Republican Party. We were
Mm.
kicked out. We were kicked out. We were unwanted. It's the reason why Dr. King supports Lyndon B. Johnson. It's the reason why Jackie Robinson, the iconic Jackie Robinson, a famous black Republican, he says that Nixon, Richard Nixon, will be quote unquote death to the blacks.
Mm.
And he was right because Richard Nixon puts in this war on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So the white power players in the party made the decision to kick out black people. That's why you can't be mad at us when we don't support y'all, because we were kicked out in the 1950s and the 1960s. Then I can go on when you have it continues with Ronald Reagan and him opening up his 1980 presidential a general election campaign in Neshoba County, Mississippi, where civil rights workers were killed. I can go to George Bush, where the second Bush, he files a voting rights lawsuit under his DOJ, I should say, against a black man in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Black man named Ike Brown had a voting rights lawsuit again. It was the first time the Voting Rights Act was used to sue a black man. Then, of course, his father decided to veto the 1990 Civil Rights Act. So it's been a long history of racism, of letting us know you are not welcomed here.
Right.
Now, I will say this, Anthony, if this were 1868, I'd be a Republican. I don't have any loyalty.
Yeah.
Party is going to protect the most vulnerable. Then, lastly, Anthony, I'll go to you. When President Barack Obama gets in office,
Mm.
baby, that was it. That black Barack Hussein Obama and his wife, Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, that
Mm.
was it. And they upped the ante even more for their Southern strategy tactics. So again, don't blame us for not supporting this party. Y'all kicked us out. You kicked our grandparents out, our great grandparents out 60 years ago.
Mm.
You've continued a legacy of explicit racism. Are Democrats perfect? Hell no.
No, definitely not.
God no.
Mm-mm.
I will critique Democrats left and right.
Mm-hmm.
But the Democratic Party where it is today, it's much better than it was when I was a kid. There
Right.
was no Jamal Bowman in the
Mm.
Democratic Party when I was a kid. There was no Ayanna Presley when I was a kid. There was no Malcolm Kenyatta when I was a kid. Who's your man? Oh my gosh, your friend Reese in Cali, Michael Tubbs.
Michael Tubbs.
There was no
Mm-hmm.
Michael Tubbs when I was a kid, right? So I believe that if we take over the Democratic Party the way that the MAGA folks and the Tea Party folks
Yep.
took over the GOP, we can have significant progress. But is it perfect? No. But do they want us in their party, the GOP?
Yeah.
No.
Oh
They
no.
haven't since the 1950s and 1960s. Anything you want to add to that, Reese? You know, I've gave that speech a few times. You've heard me give
No,
this.
I mean, like the bottom line is, there's so much that happens that is not happenstance. Like it's just not a coincidence. Oh, we all magically decided at the same time to switch affiliations. It's the same way we didn't all magically decide to have negative views about this person. It's disinformation,
Right.
or we didn't all magically decide. Not all, but you know what I'm saying. Like there's a way that Black people have been systemically targeted throughout history to create these shifts. And sometimes it shifts to our detriment because they're trying to keep us, like, for instance, away from the ballot box, keep us away from things that empower us. And then sometimes it shifts because, look, we got to survive. I mean, Tim Scott said we survived slavery, child. So, I
Right.
mean, we got to survive the damn Republican Party. in 2023 and before then. And so, I think people just really try to portray it as a zombie move as opposed to a self-preservation move. And at the end of the day, I ain't hear nothing in debate one, debate two, or from any of these Republicans in their home states where they are governors or senators or whatever the situation may be that indicates that they will not be a threat to my Black life, my Black husband's life, and my Black daughter's life. And so for that reason, they're disqualified from anything that I would ever be considering point blank, period.
All right, so there you have it. That's honestly, I think it's a good synopsis and history of why the overwhelmingly vast majority of Black people support Democrats. It's the reason why I personally support Democrats. I think it may be even the reason why you started to support Democrats at one time there, Ruben. I don't know. I'm gonna speak for you. I'm gonna give you the floor here in a second. Um, but we're still waiting for Ethan to come on. But what? How did you feel about the video?
He made some points. I don't think he was completely accurate as far as us being involved in the judicial system. He said something about 19s. He said somebody was what did he say? A senator in the 1960s. But
Hmm.
I don't think a lot of us forget that we had representatives in the Senate and Congress prior to Reconstruction.
Yeah, right after. Yeah, during Reconstruction. Yeah, we did.
So
And
it's
but that's what he was talking about was how basically started with President Grant on. They got tired of supporting us and keeping us safe, really.
mhm.
And that's when the Jim Crow laws came and the compromise of 1877 came and changed, and that's when the Jim Crow happened, which took all of our power as Black folks away to be able to vote without fear, and to be able to um go from there. All right, we have Ethan on. Welcome to the pod, Ethan. We just played a short video giving the history. I don't know if you got a chance to see it while you were out. A history of why Black folks have overwhelmingly Black folks have went and voted for Democrats. Did you get a chance to see it at all?
No, I did not. I
Okay,
apologize.
it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Um, but basically, it was just a video running down from 1800 to basically after slavery until now, and talked about the Southern strategy. Are you familiar with the Southern strategy at all? What that is?
No, I am not.
Okay, so I may bear with me here, folks. I may want to run this video back just because I just want to be transparent um and have him see the video. So if y'all don't mind, I would like to play this again so he can see it. Please bear with me. And we are going to play it again just so you can see this short 8-minute video. And go get you guys a drink because this is going to be a solo cup episode. All right, here we go.
Oh, wow. I've talked about this a lot, but I'll try and give you a brief history. So let me try and make it as plain as possible. Anthony, thank you for your question. Black folks, of course, began as Republicans. After the Civil War, the majority of black folks were Republicans. Sadly, black women couldn't vote. You have folks like Frederick Douglass and Bishop Henry McNeil Turner and Hiram Revels and Blanche Bruce. And they were supporting the Republican Party because that was the party that slavery it was ended under the Republican Party. Now, of
Mhm.
course, Abraham Lincoln was hesitant when it came to slavery. He was forced into glory, as they say, but that's a whole other story. But as time went on, towards the end of Reconstruction, which is around it ends, I believe, in 1877 with the Compromise of 1877, the Republican Party was already turning their backs on black people.
Mhm.
They were stabbing black folks in the back, including a guy who I do like, President. I like to some degree, President Grant. They were tired of bringing having federal troops down in the South to protect black folks from white violence. I know we often hear about Tulsa, we often hear about Rosewood, but there was countless black towns and communities are being burnt to the ground via white violence. I encourage you to look up the 1875 plan in Mississippi, where they basically kicked out the black elected officials and took it over. But let's fast forward. Black folks still hold on to the GOP. They're standing by the GOP. Then we get to the 1950s, brother. And in the 1950s, you see the Republican Party. Let's talk about region. You see Southerners transitioning to the Republican Party. Southerners. So it isn't always about the D or the R. It's
Yeah.
about the region. And then when you have Lyndon B. Johnson and JFK to some degree putting in these civil rights laws, they basically lose. They lose the South completely, the Democratic Party. And I'm going to give you a quote from Senator Edward Brooke. He was the first black senator elected in 1967. The first two were appointed. This is a black Republican, Anthony. He says, I'm sorry, he says this in 1964 because he sees this split happening. Senator Edward Brooke says, you can't say the Negro left the Republican Party. The Negro feels he was evicted from the Republican Party, right? How are they evicted? Look at the 1964 RNC convention when Jackie Robinson compares it to Hitler's Germany, to Hitler's Germany, saying that folks were being called the N-word. Black folks were not being allowed to talk. There's a great guy named George W. Lee who was a longtime black Republican, and he wasn't allowed to speak. And there was these proclamations that this is now the white man's party. And Dr. King talks about this. He says this in an episode of Face the Nation, where he says that he is scared to see the Republican Party turning into the white man's party. The power players, Strom Thurmond, Barry Goldwater, Richard Nixon, they made a decision. This will be the party of the Southern strategy. What's the last of the Southern strategy? It was an execution to play on white fears, white racist fears, to get that Southern vote. That was the Southern strategy. And they didn't want the black vote anymore. So black folks were kicked out locally, and they were kicked out in their city council, their school board. The Republican Party took over. And the mark of that is where we are today. That's where we are today. So that quote from a black Republican is so crucial. The Negro was evicted from the Republican Party. We were kicked out. We were kicked out. We were unwanted. It's the reason why Dr. King supports Lyndon B. Johnson. It's the reason why Jackie Robinson, the iconic Jackie Robinson, a famous black Republican, he says that Richard Nixon will be, quote unquote, death to the blacks. And he was right, because Richard Nixon puts in this war on drugs. So the white power players in the party made the decision to kick out black people. That's why you can't be mad at us when we don't support y'all, because we were kicked out in the 1950s and the 1960s. Then I can go on and on when it continues with Ronald Reagan and him opening up his 1980 presidential general election campaign in Neshoba County, Mississippi, where civil rights workers were killed. I can go to George Bush, where the second Bush, he files a voting rights lawsuit under his DOJ, I should say, against a black man in Mississippi. Black man named Ike Brown had a voting rights lawsuit again. It was the first time the Voting Rights Act was used to sue a black man. Then, of course, his father decided to veto the 1990 Civil Rights Act. So it's been a long history of racism, of letting us know you are not welcomed here.
Right.
Now, I will say this, Anthony, if this were 1868, I'd be a Republican. I don't have any loyalty.
Yeah.
The party is going to protect the most vulnerable. Then lastly, Anthony, I'll go to you. When President Barack Obama gets in office, baby, that was it. That black Barack Hussein Obama and his wife, Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, that was it. And they upped the ante even more for their Southern strategy tactics. So again, don't blame us for not supporting this party. Y'all kicked us out. You kicked our grandparents out, our great-grandparents out 60 years ago. You've continued a legacy of explicit racism. Are Democrats perfect? Hell no.
No, definitely not.
God, no. I will critique Democrats left and right. But the Democratic Party where it is today, it's much better than it was when I was a kid. There was no Jamal Bowman in the Democratic Party when I was a kid. There was no Ayanna Pressley when I was a kid. There was no Malcolm Kenyatta when I was a kid. Who's your man? Oh my gosh, your friend Reese in Cali. Michael Tubbs.
Michael Tubbs.
There was no Michael Tubbs when I was a kid, right? So I believe that if we take over the Democratic Party the way that the MAGA folks and the Tea Party folks
Yep.
took over the GOP, we can have significant progress. But is it perfect? No. But do they want us in their party, the GOP?
Yeah.
No. They
Okay.
haven't since the 1950s and 1960s. Anything you want to add to that, Reese? You know, I've gave that speech a few times. You've heard.
All right, so that's basically that's the video. I would say that I absolutely, Ethan. I think you got me a little bit.
Yes.
All right, yeah, I personally agree with everything that he said, and that is why I am a Democrat. Do they have their flaws? Absolutely. And I want to talk about that and get more into that. But I want to first ask you, how did you feel about the video and the history of what you just heard?
I mean, I understand throughout history why black people support Democrats. I mean, throughout history, it made sense.
Hmm.
Today, I don't see so much, you know, what the video is saying. The video is, bringing up history, which is great.
Hmm.
But today, I don't see it that way. So that's just my opinion.
All right. All right, and I think Ruben feels the same way, and we want to get into the first question that I have for both of you brothers. I know we have some people, some guests that's in there, that's on the chat already, and I appreciate y'all. But I just want to give these brothers, a chance to highlight them for a minute before I bring everybody else on to talk to them, because I have a few questions that I wanted to ask. Um, so both you guys, Ethan, both you and Ruben have voted for Donald Trump, but I think y'all did it for two separate reasons. And I've had you both guys on a pod at different times, and Ruben is extremely pro black, extreme. Not saying that you're not, Ethan, but
Mhm.
he looks at it completely different than you do. I think, and I think you feel like more we have come. You know what? I'm gonna just let you guys talk. So, Ruben, tell me a quick synopsis. 'Cause I want to give Ethan a chance to, before you guys get to talking and ask my question, a quick synopsis of how you view the world today and why what made you vote for Trump.
Um, how I view the world today. Uh, I view the world as not too far from. Uh, I don't view that this world, America's United States, is much different than it was during slavery and after chattel slavery. So pre 1965 and post 1965. I don't view it as too much different. It's just got a what would you say? Put sugar on shit. That's the best way
Mhm.
I could define it for me. Um, I voted for Trump, like I stated before, because I knew that he would be an adversary, and it seems like we'd only get active when we have something in front of us that we all can point at and be like, all right, we don't fool with him. And we get active with each other, like these podcasts or having more conversations or getting out in the street, rioting, picketing, protesting. It seems like we get more active when we have somebody in office that we don't really rock with. And that's why I voted for Trump, because I felt like he would create a situation where we would be forced to come together.
All right, Ethan. Now, if you don't mind giving a synopsis of why you voted for Trump and how do you see the world today?
Uh, I don't think the reason I voted for Trump is how I see the world today.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't feel as though there's slavery happening today. I don't feel any of that. But to each their own. I just feel as though I like the things that he said he was going to do. I like some of the things that he's been doing in office, and uh, I like that. He's trying to put, at least he's claiming to put America first, and that's what I'm about. I'm not. I like America. That's why I'm here, and I like somebody that puts America first. That's basically it. I don't view the world as, I don't think it's a negative thing. I mean, again, I like America. There you go.
Okay. All right. So you look at it as that. But so now I'm gonna ask you a question because we talked about this in a prior pod. Um, Give us your feelings on systematic racism because this is where I think you guys both agreed on we need to do Trump for opposite reasons, but this is where I think things will differ drastically. And Ethan, if you don't mind, because we always got new people watching and stuff. How do you feel about systematic racism and racism in general? Does it exist, and why or why not?
When you say systematic racism, can you elaborate?
Um, do you think that people in this country still look at us as black people as inferior, that we need to stay in our place, that we do not we deserve whatever we get?
So when you say systematic racism, you're saying like America as a whole looks at us, or different races as a whole look at black people as inferior? Is that what you're claiming, or is that what you're asking?
I'm asking as the country as in and of itself. Now, I'm not saying everybody. Obviously, I'm not saying
Yeah, I
everybody.
understand, but
Yeah,
when
but
you're saying like America as
there
a
is a
whole,
vast majority, not vast majority. I'm gonna say there are people in our country that still hold lever of power that are keeping us down because of our race.
um, no, I do not agree with that.
Okay.
I
Uh,
don't,
go
I
ahead. Go
don't,
ahead,
I
please.
don't see, I don't feel as though America as a whole, or there is a majority or a lot of people that looks at us as inferior or anything. I don't really see anything of African American can do that a white person can't do. We all can apply for the same jobs. We all can work in the same places. I mean, I don't really see anything that we can't do unless you have something of mine.
Okay. Ruben, so you heard how you feel about systematic racism. Would you like to comment on what he said?
Um, I don't know how he got that. I don't know how he got to that point, frame of reference and thinking that. But 100%, I'm 100% sure it's systematic racism in this country every day. When you got issues like redlining and the way that they restrict us from being able access to certain funds without hopping through certain loops. What was it?
Some examples.
Most recently, I think it was the last election when it was the issue of them trying to rezone different people so that they couldn't vote, or some of their votes would be suppressed in different communities of ours.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 1,000%, without a doubt, was systematic racism going on in America. It's been racism since the existence of America, and racism isn't going anywhere when it comes to America. It is ingrained in the fibers that make America.
So you said that them trying to rezone different parts. Again, I'm just using the words you said because I have no idea what you're saying. But
Are you familiar with redlining?
them trying to rezone, that's what you're saying is that's what's racist.
Well, I know they have gerrymandered districts. I'll just speak for a second. They have gerrymandered districts. Even right now, there's a lawsuit in Mississippi where they have gerrymandered districts to where they don't have predominantly black more enough predominantly black districts for Congress, and it's strictly based off of race. And they had just recently lost within the last month. I want to say I don't have it on hand, but I can definitely research it if you want. And I send it to you. So it still happens today as far as um redistricting and gerrymandering the districts.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was talking to you, Ethan. Just telling you about what's going on right now as far as that it continues to happen to this day, us being discriminated against because honestly because of our race and because of our voting power that we do have.
And you're saying, again, I'm just trying to
Yeah, I
understand.
understand.
So you're saying because of our race, they are I mean, I hear what you're saying. I like. How do you know it's just because of the race? Like, I'm trying to understand that. Like, how you just
They've been
think?
sued for it and lost. They have been sued for it and lost. In Mississippi right now, let me look it up. In Mississippi right now, there is a judgment that they need to completely redo their districts because they are disenfranchising black people
Do you
because
have the? Do you have like what it is so I can at least
yeah,
do a skim?
yeah, I will. And Room, you have anything while I research this for a second?
Well, two things. Brother, you mind turning on the video? I don't know if you're able to or not. I was just like, I can't see. I'm like, I like to see who I'm talking to, but if you can't, that's all good.
Yeah, I
And
don't. I'm at the computer. I don't have webcam right now.
no,
I'll
you're all
just
good, man. It's all good. I was just asking if it was possible. If not, it ain't the end of the world, man. And the second thing, when would you say racism ended in America? If you believe there's no systematic racism, when did it end, in your opinion?
I mean, I don't have a date for when it ended. Just I don't see today anything that we can't do that our counterparts also can't do. So I don't have like a date of when it ended. If that's what you're
Yeah,
asking.
not you don't need a date. You can be general. It don't have to be specific. Just a general. You would say in the 80s and the 90s and the 2010s. Like just a general aspect of when you feel like racism, we became whole, and we no longer are subject to systematic racism. When do you think that actually ended? Just a general. It could be a decade.
I mean, again, I don't. I can only go based off of my adult life and what's happening around us now. So I don't have anything. I'm not like I wasn't in politics in
Yeah.
2010. I was still in school, so it's like I can only go based off my adult life and what I'm seeing around the world today. So I mean, I don't know. So I don't want to say 2010s and then something gets brought up in 2010, blah blah blah. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
into
Hmm.
politics and shit there, so I don't have
Hmm.
that. I can just go based off today in the last couple of years, last 4 to 10 years. That's what I can go off of.
So you've experienced no racism in your entire life?
To say that I have I experienced racist people, like let's just say that they call me an N word on a
No, I'm
game or
not.
something.
That's no.
That's
Sometimes it may not be that easy. It may not be that direct. But if you can use that if you want. But have you experienced anything that could be considered racism in your entire life? And can I ask how old are you?
I'm 31.
No, I'm 36.
Hmm. Uh, no, I don't. I don't believe that I've experienced anything that I would consider racism. Nah.
Okay.
I mean, I've been called the N word multitude of different times, but I don't really look at that as racist. That's just
Why would that not be racist? Why would that in and of itself not be racist?
well. So the reason why I don't feel as though that is racist is because I feel as though kids are going to be kids. Let's say if I'm on a game and they see, let's say if I have black in my name, right,
Hmm.
for whatever, I have black in my name, they're gonna be like, oh, let's say I'm beating them, right? They're
Hmm.
just gonna say like, oh, you N word, blah blah blah, you're not good. Like, but I don't look at that like they're intentionally trying to be racist. They're just trying to get underneath people's skins or like trying to say like because I feel as though us as a gent like us, at least some of my friends may call them a cracker or whatever. Like I don't believe that they are racist. And I'd be like, oh, was you trying to be racist? Like, no, I was just talking shit to them. Like, I feel as though like you're just talking shit on the game. So I personally just don't see that as racist. Just because now if you just come up to me and try to like demean me or like just say like, oh, uh, I don't know, like say you came to me and was like, you stupid N word, you're poor, but I don't know. I just don't really look at that too much as racist. I feel as though can it be looked at as racist? Yeah, if you do look at that as racist, I do understand. But I mean, I feel as though that's just like if I curse you out, if I call you a B word, like I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just
Mhm.
talking shit. That's all. But I mean, different people look at it differently, I guess.
All right, Ruben, I'm gonna get because you chomping. I can tell you chomping at the bit to say something. I'm gonna just say this: if anybody want to join the conversation, I put some links in Facebook as well. If you're watching on Facebook, please go to the YouTube and watch. In a couple of weeks, we're gonna be strictly on YouTube. Also, if you want to join the conversation, there's a link on the YouTube to join the conversation. With that being said, Ruben, I'm gonna let you speak because you look like you was chomping at the bit.
You said kids will be kids, and if they call you the N word in the video game, you don't consider that racism.
Mm-hmm.
But kids are raised in a society and in a household, and no child comes out of the womb racist. That is taught through society and what is accepted in their household when no one else is around. And I just, I would like to, I'm wondering if you believe that their framework of thinking and how they speak to you in the game stops when the game stops. Does that attitude that they're giving you when you're winning, as you said, when you're winning, and I'm glad you said that because it shows. If they're calling you that in the game, when the game is no longer on, do they stop? Does that attitude they're using, calling you the N-word, does that stop when the game is over, or do they continue that when they go into their regular lives? And that is a perfect example of our dilemma as a people. When we get into a position where we're winning and we're succeeding, that attitude is more prevalent, as in when Barack Obama was president. They came out the woodworks, and it was a lot more people wanting to vocalize racism, racist thoughts, when they felt like we were in a position of power over them. There's one thing that I'm 100% certain of is that no Caucasian on this planet wants to be under the power of anybody of color. And if that person of color reaches a level of power over them, you will see their true colors. And that shows with your example of the video game. You were in a position of power where they couldn't beat you. So they reverted back to their instinct, a natural instinct of racism and trying to degrade you so you would feel less of yourself and no longer be operating at your optimum level. But
Okay, so
like you said, that didn't bother you. You shook it off and you kept whooping ass, as you should. But that attitude,
if they do it in a time that I'm losing, and they be like, "Oh, blah blah, you still lost," like, would they still be in a position of power, or
but
they
that
go?
wasn't the example you used. I'm
No,
going off the example you used.
I understand, but then I'm challenging your way of thinking, because you're saying that you're in a position of power. So let's just say that they use it when I'm losing as well. Is it still a position of power, or does it now change for something else?
Let me just say, they still called us a nigga when they was lynching us. You could be hanging from the roof, I mean from the rope on a tree. They still called you a nigga, and you was in no position of power. So, I agree with what Ruben said about at a position of power. That's when they felt the need to be able to bring it out because that's when it bothers them the most. That's when it bothers them the most. Like I personally feel what we have in Trumpism and MAGA and all of this now is simply because of Barack Obama. This is the white lash from that in and of itself. That's me personally. And honestly, I'm gonna speak for Ruben because I'm gonna say he feel the same way. But so I'm gonna give you the floor back again, Ethan. And what do you like to say about that?
So I mean, if they do it when we're up and they do it when we're down, like, how are they trying to tear us down if we're already down?
It's pretty simple, man. They trying to continue to keep us down. Go ahead, Ruben. What you gonna
You
say?
took the words out of my mouth. You took the
So
words out of my mouth.
if anybody calls you an N-word, that's automatic racism in your eyes.
Absolutely. Any white person that calls me a nigga, it's a problem.
So
It's an absolute problem.
it's
There's
just
nothing. It's nothing to talk about. It's a problem.
cool. So I mean, to each their own. I'm just trying to understand. So
I don't
it's
put that as
okay.
just white people. It's anybody,
Yeah,
any culture outside of our own. You
yeah,
know
So
what I mean?
yeah. I
I
would
would
agree with you
put,
there.
hey,
so
but you can be
if
Mexican, you can be Asian. It's gonna
Yeah,
be the same
it's gonna be the
way.
same. It's gonna be the same energy. It's
so
gonna be the
why is it
same energy.
okay for us to use it, but not okay for anybody else to use it if it's a negative term?
Well, I'm gonna speak for me.
Okay.
I do personally feel like we have commandeered it for ourselves to give empowerment to ourselves. And I understand that there are people who don't feel that way, and I respect that. I respect them wholeheartedly for feeling that way. And if a black person told me, "Hey, don't use that word for me," I will absolutely not never use that word for them. But for me personally, I feel like it is a word of endearment at this point because we are who we are. Now,
So
and I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna tell you this: I wouldn't call an African, somebody I know that's from Africa, born and raised in Africa. I won't call them a nigga because they are not. They don't understand the struggle. They don't understand. It's not embedded and embedded in their bones like it is at us. Like when we go and watch centers and we see sharecroppers and we see different things, they don't have. I'm saying talking about Africans from Africa,
mhm.
they don't have the same history struggle, the industry struggle, the history struggle that we have that brings us to the point where we take that word and use it as a term of endearment. To be honest with you, so go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question. So let's just
Go ahead.
say you are friends with a white person. You've been friends with him for 10 years, and he's been around your black group of friends for 10 years, and he hearing everybody saying nigga, 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 blah, 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 blah for 10 years, and then he slips up and says it or says it one time. Like, would you look at that and be like, "Hey, bro, don't say that," or would you be like, "Oh, he's being racist"?
If it's somebody that I knew for a long time, I want in and of itself that individual. We talking about this specific
Yes, that
situation.
specific
This
situation.
specific situation. I wouldn't think of him as racist. I would think of him as too comfortable.
Okay, so but why do you look at why couldn't somebody be too comfortable that you don't know? Why does that automatically have to be racist?
For the simple fact that they don't know me. They have no
But,
clue about.
but we're not talking about you specifically. They're comfortable with black people in general. Let's say they have a lot of black friends. They're just around black people all the time. All right.
Mhm.
And they're just comfortable with black people. Maybe their friend group allows them to say the N-word. Like, and then you don't know them, and then they just happen to say it. Like, would you just, oh, that person's racist? Like, but like, how do you? They're not trying to be racist. They just
Mhm.
maybe their black friend group don't mind them saying the N word, and
So
then you say that they are racist. Like, that's what I'm saying. At least, what I guess what I'm trying to get is like, just because you said a word, or just because the word is said, I don't look at that as you are racist now.
all right. So we're gonna go to um
Can I chime in on this?
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, Bobby. As far as
Mhm.
commandeering the word, uh, that word, no matter how which way we want to flip it, is never going to be acceptable as a way of identifying ourselves. No
Okay.
matter which way we flip it, because the same way you say we use it in positive towards each other, we also use it in the same racist tone to each other. For
That's
example,
true.
when we calling each other a fuck nigga, excuse
Mhm.
my language, we
Mhm.
not using that in a positive way. Or that's a bitch ass nigga. You know what I mean? We not using it in a positive. We using it technically in the same way that the white person or any other races would use it in that term, in that way. So as long as it can be used in that way, and it will always be used in that way because that's what it was made for, uh, we have to find a better way of identifying ourselves because it seems like we can find many words to call each other and none of them be positive. We got thought, we got nigga, we got our women calling each other bitches left and right. How can we raise as a people when we don't even communicate with each other in a respectful, honorable way?
I mean, I don't look at what even the sentences that you said. Like, I don't look at you still using nigga as a derogatory way. Like, you're adding stuff to it. Like, if I say you're a bitch ass nigga, like, you're still a nigga. Like, I'm just saying, I'm adding bitch in front of which that is what you're taking offense to. Like, why are you calling me a bitch? Like, or like I still, in those sentences that you looked at, I still don't look at it. And again, that might just be my point of view. And everybody
It's
else may be differently, but it's just in
those
my opinion, I don't look at those as
why that doesn't really work how you're saying it, because those are adjectives to the noun.
Mhm.
Those are adjectives to the noun, so that's describing the noun.
Yes, but I'm describing you, and you are
You're
still
describing nigga. You're
yes.
saying that you could be a bitch ass nigga, you could be a
Yes.
fuck nigga, you could be
But
a
when I say
hoe ass nigga.
correct, but
You
when
know
I
what I
say
mean?
nigga, I'm referring to who?
You're referring to a black person.
Yes,
You're
I'm
referring to
referring
an
to
African
you. So
American.
therefore, like I'm adding to it, which is that the adding is, the negativity, at least to me. Like when I just say nigga, that's just a person. I don't necessarily like. Let's say if I like I have my friend groups consist of white people, I still be
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, that nigga, even though he's still a white person. I don't look at it as
No,
black or white. Like I just
Do you allow them to call you nigga?
no, I do not allow them to call me that. And
Why?
they don't say those things.
Why?
Again, I don't allow them to because of the race. So like again, if I was in a friend like my friends that are of different race, I don't allow them to say, nigga or whatever. But I don't intentionally try to call them nigga. Like I'll be like, oh shit, blah blah. But like it's just a habit of when I'm talking to different people, different friend groups, and we all just there, it'll slip and I'll be like, oh, you know what I meant. And we keep it pushing. Like we don't look at it as a negative thing.
all right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just tell you, I do not let my friends of a different ethnicity call me nigga ever under any circumstances whatsoever.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, I agree with that. But the question that I asked, like, would you automatically assume that they're racist? And you said no. But then I asked, like, why do we automatically assume, like, why? So I'm assuming that the reason that you said no is because you're giving them the benefit of the doubt, right? You're like, hey, like, I knew this person for X, Y, Z years. That's
hmm
why I'm not going to assume that you're being racist.
hmm
Like, why don't we give people the benefit of the doubt? Why do we just automatically be like,
because
oh,
I
because
don't
you're
know
white?
them, because
No,
I don't know them, and they don't know me, and they won't show me the benefit of doubt. But,
but why do you believe that?
because of society and because of history and because of life.
So do
They do
you
not
think?
show, they will not show you, whether you recognize it or not, they will not show you the benefit of the doubt. A
So
police
you think?
officer that go ahead.
Do you think the majority of white people are negative people?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so
Absolutely not. No.
if it's bad apples in both races, in all races, right? Like why? And we believe that majority of the race of every race is good, right? Or at least
Yeah.
deserves the benefit of the doubt. Like why is it automatically just
So let
I
me
because
ask you
can't
a
give the
question.
benefit of the doubt.
So
There's,
let me ask the question first, Bruno. Bruno, get back to you. Why do you feel? Why do you say that your white friends can't call you nigga? Why can't they call you that?
because of what the word means, like the history of the word.
So you understand that
You
it is a
muted, Bobby.
racist. Oh, can you hear? You can't hear me?
Am I tripping?
Yeah,
No, I can hear you. I can hear both of
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Something real low. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what happened.
So you understand the meaning of the word, and you say that they can't use it with you, but at the same time, you comfortable with somebody off the street.
No, that
Call,
doesn't mean no. Let me correct that. I'm not
okay,
comfortable with it. I just wouldn't automatically assume that they are racist.
but why not? Why not? Because for them to come out of their mouth with the word, with calling you the nigga from the beginning, they're trying to degrade you.
No, not necessarily. That's just that maybe
What do you mean? Not necessarily. Give me. How about
I
this?
gave
Give
I
me
gave
an
you an example.
example. No, no,
I gave
no,
you
no,
one.
no, no. Give me an example of somebody off of the street.
Yes, I did.
You walk.
Uh,
No,
yeah.
you going into a grocery store
Okay.
and somebody says, get out of the way, nigga." You don't think that's racist?
If somebody says move nigga and let's say are a different, I would look at the way that they. So I wouldn't personally just go up to a black person and be like, move nigga, right? Like I would
Mm-hmm.
assume that we all have respect towards other people, or we wouldn't just be like, hey, move nigga, like because that's aggressive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you would be like, let's use a realistic example of somebody saying the word nigga. Let's just be like, uh, they on the phone call, or they are. Let's just, cause I want to, you want to direct it towards you, so not on the phone. Uh, it's hard to give an example where they're directed towards you.
There isn't one.
Yeah, so where it's directed towards
Okay.
you, I don't like
All right.
it's because typically people aren't just going to use that word. Like I wouldn't just go to a black person and be like anything like nigga out my mouth either. So it's typically a way of typically people try to be polite, like oh my bad, bro, or I don't even say my bad, nigga.
Mhm.
Like I just say my bad, bro, or oh my bad. Like so to say like somebody would just come up and say those things, I don't. It's
So
hard to
so
come up
so
with an
so so
example.
then it goes to the point where which is if a white person come out their mouth with it that you don't know, you have to take it as a derogatory term for the simple fact that you can't think of a good example where they could say it and you will feel comfortable not knowing other than he may know one of your other black friends and he grew up black.
Sure,
Okay.
I don't see where it can be again where it can be. I would be comfortable with somebody saying that again. It would just have to be like we're in a setting of friends are at a party or something and they're talking to their friend group or whatever, or I overhear it and that's what they say. I wouldn't assume that that person is racist. That's the best example. Like I just wouldn't assume that person's trying to be racist, or even back to the video game. Like I don't assume that person's racist.
I absolutely do, especially on a video game. Absolutely do.
I
I
mean,
think they're getting away with what they can get away with, because I can guarantee you. Well, I ain't gonna say guarantee. I would say more than likely they will not say those words to you and to your face because they know that it will. Well, to my face, maybe not for you, but for me,
yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be a
obviously
problem.
they're keyboard warriors, but I mean, the same way if they call me a bitch, like that's no different. So if they wouldn't say bitch in my face either. They wouldn't say anything to my face. They would just keep it pushing in their real life.
Most I would say that most people would try to get away with bitch before they try to get away with nigga. But all right, so we've been on for a minute, so I want to let the guests, some of the people that sit on the couch. Ruben, I'm gonna give you the floor for a second so that you can talk, and if you have anything to say before I bring on some of the guests and let them start to speak.
No,
All right,
I'm
what's up?
fine.
Okay,
I'm here.
you just hear you listening.
If you want to let some more people on
Yeah,
and
let
get
some
some
more
more
people want to talk.
perspectives, I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. All right, so first one I'm gonna let on is easy. Easy. Are you here? Easy? Okay, he may not be here. All right, Ronnie, I'm gonna go ahead and let you you're welcome back to the podcast.
No doubt.
Appreciate you, my brother. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and go. V, you're up next.
Are we going through the whole thing or this particular thing?
Wherever you're at, wherever what your thoughts are right now, go for it for a minute.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the from the very beginning and make it quick and get back to the young man. First, Ethan, what can I? How old are you, man, brother?
I'm 31.
Okay, so I can understand kind of what you're saying, right? But let's go back to the beginning of what our boy was talking about: the Democrats and the Republicans, right? all of them things, all of those things are just put into place to make us all scramble around to decide who we going, what side we gonna pick. Ultimately, though, how you think about it, and it's all everybody's think about it, is like what part or what side represents more of what's happening in the country. That tells you how things are polling for each of those places, right? And what things they're helping those particular people with, if that makes sense to you. For you, Ethan, also to go back to 31 years ago, I can see why you don't see the things that we're talking about a little bit further back. You wouldn't understand that, but you can see all the ramifications from it, because if you think about it, how old you say your politics only start when you're at your adulthood. About,
Yes.
okay. Do you remember what you did when you remember anything that when you were doing at
Hey,
10?
Ship, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump out and come back in
Okay.
because the volume on this phone. I'm gonna jump on this other phone and
Okay.
come right back in.
All right. Appreciate it, man. See you on the other side.
Do you
Keep going,
remember how
Ron.
you felt? Do you remember how you felt when you were 10?
No,
You don't remember any. You don't remember how you felt when you were 10?
I do not.
Okay. So you wouldn't know anything about when was the earliest that you can remember that you like okay before your adult age like you know how you felt at that time. How old were you
Realis-
roughly?
Realistically, probably high school,
High
14,
school. Fourth. Okay. That okay. And where did you grow up?
in Douglasville, Georgia.
I'm sorry. Where?
In Georgia, near Atlanta.
Near Atlanta. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you like would you be considered the suburbs of Atlanta?
Yes.
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 Okay, so now it makes more sense of why what you're saying makes sense to you. You guys ever heard of something that two things can be right at the same time? You ever heard that
Yes.
term? Okay. So in your life, that's what you see, right? And that we can't really fault you because you're in a particular area that in your mindset, it's kind of like how I look at my kids. They didn't grow up like I grew up. They didn't have to. They didn't grow up through the pain and the struggle and all the crazy stuff. So they mind utopia. Their world is utopia. They don't see all of this strange. So that's where I can understand that now. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
when who do you learn from? Do you learn from history, or do you learn from the environment that you are, or do you learn from your elders?
Uh, a little bit of everything, to be
Okay,
honest.
what's the majority? What do you think?
His own
Um,
personal experiences.
I would say, I guess, environment.
Their environment has more pull on you than your closer elders, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for you, I can see where your mindset is, right? Because your environment shows you a different world than most people don't see, right? And I can
Okay.
understand that view. However, what you need to start doing is looking at the bigger majority of your elders, because history is your environment. Your environment is temporal, but history, your elders keep the secrets. Your elders know the stories. Your elders know the history. You don't just go by what you see in your bubble. You're in a bubble, but there's a bigger bath out there. There's multiple bubbles, but we're in a bathtub. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when we try to explain some things to you, and you're right in a lot of the terms that you're saying, you're like, oh, I can see where that because I had these conversations with my son. And he's exactly kind of in the same way you are, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He didn't grow up like I grew up, so I gotta maneuver a little bit. That's where you are. You know what I mean? So don't think like we're trying to tell you you're wrong. Continue on your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because when you actually do see the truth it's going to make more sense to you when you actually see it. It's not going to take you a long time to understand. It's going to be because your innate thing, and this is what I always tell my kids is we got more than five senses, right? We got a sixth and seventh sense, and you know what your senses tell you when you're in a certain environment. You ain't got to know what you don't got to know the people. Your sense, you got senses that'll tell you like, wait a minute, this isn't the right this isn't the right environment. These aren't the right people, and these aren't the right words to say to certain people, no matter what the environment is, right? So I can see that, but you got to start listening to your senses. Does that make sense? You understand what I mean?
To an extent.
All right,
Okay,
Ruben.
so yeah, I'm sorry,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm sorry, Bobby, I wasn't finished. So
Okay.
all of this, I want to go back to the politics part because I meant to say something real quick, right? Uh, for everybody, really, if you really go back into where you grew up and where you came up, right? And this is what confuses me about some people's choices, right? If you look at your decades that you were in, and you look at who was in power, right? Democrat, Republican, white. If you was on whatever side it is, this is why people vote the way they vote. Is as you matriculate, as you're getting older, Democrats in power. Oh, we're doing really, really good. Oh, shit, Republicans in power. Oh man, we in freaking war. oh my God, it's another. Oh shoot, we in a more bigger war. You know what I'm saying? Like then you see a Democrat say, oh, now so that's the kind of like the stock market of life for us, like the stock market of even Republic or parties that people select, right? But that's how you should start thinking also in that point. Like, man, how was I in these decades when these people were in power? Was I doing good? Was we doing better? And were they doing things against us or for us? That's what's gonna help you out to decide where your mindset should be at. That's all I got, Bobby.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna go to V. I'm gonna give you a chance to talk first, Ethan. Before I go to V, do you have anything to say to Ronnie before he actually you can stay on Ronnie? I'm gonna just take your video off. Ethan, you have anything to say to Ronnie?
No, I mean, no, I don't have not too much to say. No.
Okay. Ruben, you have anything for Ronnie? No. Okay. All
What
right.
up, Rue?
What up, man?
All right, so we're going to bring on our next guest, which was going to be V. Thank you for your patience, and welcome back to the couch. And tell us what you're thinking right now.
I benefit from racism every day. I don't know how you think it doesn't exist. I'm super confused by that. If okay, Trump got elected, I took down the stuff in my window that told my neighbors I'm Jewish. I get to hide like that. I get to blend in. I get to go to the store and buy nude pantyhose and nude band-aids, right? There is institutional things in place that make me the default. I understand not assuming strangers are racist because of the language they use. Maybe they're too comfortable, like Bobby said. But I grew up in DeKalb County, Stone Mountain. I'm from the same area in Atlanta. I would never use that language. It's disgusting. And it's only used for degradation. And I think that making space to give someone the benefit of the doubt is dangerous for yourself. I would never tell someone to give. I can't imagine a situation where somebody comes to you, especially a stranger, with language like that, and that being a safe situation for the person being called that word, whether it's bluster or not. This high, I've seen situations that don't de-escalate the way that they should if people are calm and using their heads, and it starts with that word. It starts with that word all the time. And I think making space for people to have the benefit of the doubt, there's goodness in that idea, but it's so dangerous to just let that go. And then about the politics thing, I missed the first part of the show. I'm sorry, my phone was
Okay.
overheating. I saw a video, I think it's from November of 24, where they're talking about the census. And Texas was used as an example. And there was like 4 million people added to the Texas population. And that resulted in 2 new voting chairs. I think, I don't want to misspeak. Some branch of government, whether it was the state level or the federal level, got 2 new chairs based on the 4 million people that they were counting new to the census. Less than 200,000 were white. And both chairs were white Republicans. Both of those seats went to white districts. All those other millions of people that got added to the census appropriately, legally, that should be counted for services and, all of the things that do need to be different based on your community. You might need more English as a second language learning professionals in the schools in one district than you need in another. You might need, different outreach programs based on whatever community you're coming from, whatever your financial status is. Those things are affected by the census. And the results, instead of representing the over 3 million people that were not white, ended up representing white Republican districts. That's institutional
Racism.
racism. It's at an institutional level. It's baked into the cake.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to give people the benefit of the doubt and to not assume that, but I think it's not safe. I think it's naive. And I'm telling you right now, I benefit from it every day. And
so you're saying
that's
you
something that, trying to teach my kids not to take a second helping just because it's available. It's a different kind of conversation than you have to have with your kids, or, anybody of color has to have with their kids about just getting their first serving. And I'm glad that maybe you've never experienced something where you feel like you're not getting what's due to you. That's great for you. But it also takes away from the other people, not just in your community, but in every community that's not being represented correctly, because we're giving people the benefit of the doubt. As a woman, I get marginalized. As a Jewish person, I've had racist things done to me. I've been attacked. I've been spit on. I've been bullied by supervisors because they didn't like my religion. Pretending like, well, it wasn't about my religion. It was, we just had a personality conflict, or it gives power to the person doing something dangerous, wrong, immoral. And just because it's not your experience doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried about the person next to you who is telling you they're having that experience.
But I mean, I would challenge anybody that has that experience to try to understand. Like, it's cool to say that, to each their own. I'm not trying to downplay any situation, but they say like, oh, I went through a racist situation, and I asked questions, and I'm like, okay, like, I understand that's a bad situation, but what did race have to do with it? Like, a lot of the times, it kind of goes to like how you view the world. I mean, if you view the world as the world is racist, and if somebody said something, then you're gonna look at that as racist. I just don't.
But see, that's where I think that you're misinterpreting how you view the world. When you view the world, you have to look at history. History is here for a reason. We learn history for a reason, because it repeats itself and because it creates that stigmatism. And to act like there was nothing, and that's where I think you're looking at it as today forward, from the time that you became an adult and the time that you can remember being an adult or a human that you can remember forward. You didn't have those experiences, which we all agree is outstanding for you not to have those experiences. But because you didn't have those experiences, you're looking at it as the past is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not reality. It's just not. Why is it not? Because it shows itself almost daily.
How?
Go ahead, Ruben.
In the community,
I can tell you he's ready.
One fine brother said, just ain't got a nigga wake up call before. That's all. You just ain't got a nigga wake up call. Everybody gets it. You just ain't got one. And one thing that I want to back that I forgot to mention is in that video you played, that brother had mentioned the first black senator was in 1970. In the video, he was completely
okay.
Black senator was
18 something, right? Yeah.
Harlem Rebels. 1870 was the first black American, first African American senator, not 70s.
Okay.
So back to I forget your name, but the lady.
V.
So you're saying that you're receiving the privilege because you're able to go to the store and buy pantyhose?
Say that again.
You're receiving like privilege because you're able to go to the store and fit in. Is that what you're saying?
As part of it, my life is easier.
What makes your life easier?
That's a very, very, very small part. It's very, very low on the importance totem pole. But there are just little things like that baked into the system that make my life easier. I want to go find pantyhose that are my skin tone. I literally look for the word nude. Okay. As if my naked is different than your naked. The word nude just means naked, right? But I'm the default. Okay. I'm the default Band-Aid. I'm the default shampoo at the corner store. It's not products for your hair. It's products for my hair.
Okay, but why? You know what I'm saying? But why is it? Okay, but just using that, like, Why is that the case? You believe that's racism? Yes.
I do believe it's racism, and here's why. Because I'm surrounded by communities who need other products and they're not provided. And they
Okay,
have to
that's
go to specialty
okay.
stores to find them. They have to
That's
go to the
And
other
pay
side
more.
of town
And pay more.
and pay more
so
for it.
why is it looked at as racism rather than that's the majority of what America is? So let's just say if I am a company, right, and I have 1 million white people, and I have 100,000 black people, which am I going to uh, make products for? Or let's just say which that's who I'm trying to sell to. Which one am I going to make products for?
So if you have that disparity in your clientele, you're going to target it to the biggest group. Hopefully you're not leaving the little group out. What
Of
I'm
course,
saying
okay.
is the area I live in has all of these different groups, and my group is overrepresented. And I
Yes, but
know that because when I
they're
go to
not
like
making
the
products
shampoo
for,
aisle,
but
you
they're not
get
making
one
products for
shelf.
your area though. You do understand that, right? Like the big companies aren't just doing like your specific area; they're doing it
No,
around
but
the
I've
world.
lived all over, right? So I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived
Yeah,
in the suburbs
no, no,
of
no,
it.
no.
I've
Hold on.
lived in
I understand that, but when you're buying products from a store, right, and the company is going for all of America, right? So they ship it out to America. So if America is majority white, why would they not make products for that, or why would that not be the norm?
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Companies want to make money. They're going to target their audience. They're going to sell what they sell, right? Got it. What I'm saying is when I go to the store, there's a shampoo aisle, right? We all been to the Walmart shampoo aisle. How big is the section for black hair care products?
Okay, what's the black representation in America?
But
It's
what about the rep?
disproportionate
But
in the shampoo
they don't.
aisle. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not 50% white. You
Okay,
know,
but it's not 50% black people in America.
I'm
What
But
is the
at the same
representation of
point,
America?
if your store is servicing a black community, they should have they should have an overwhelmingly
That's
representation of those black products. Correct? I mean, just off
No,
of
I
what you're
don't.
saying.
Yes, yes,
So hold
yes,
on.
yes. So wait,
Okay.
wait.
All
What you're
right.
saying that
and,
makes
and
sense.
when I
We
go to the
understand.
Walmart
We,
in East St. Louis and I go to the Walmart in Whiteville, Illinois, that's 10 minutes away from each other, it's the same shelf. And
so
the
that's
one in
just
East
say that it
St.
has
Louis,
nothing to do with race. That's just the
She
company that's
just
buying
told you.
it.
but I'm telling
She
you, the
just told you.
clientele in East St. Louis is flipped.
No,
The clientele
no,
at East St.
I
Louis is
agree.
like 97% white, same
Okay,
shampoo aisle.
so it doesn't change. The store doesn't change based off race. Is what you're telling me, right?
I'm telling you that okay.
It's the same.
Sometimes it
So
does,
therefore, it,
sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you target your audience, sometimes you don't. Either way, the amount of products available for my skincare, for my complexion, my hair care products, the things that match what I look like, my phenotype, are more available, they're cheaper, and they're in places where I am not the clientele,
okay,
even though it's at a disproportionate level.
So,
I understand that,
I'm gonna
right?
change the subject. I'm gonna
Listen,
change the
All right.
subject
like
because I
as
want
a,
to ask you. I want to
no,
ask you about. Um, you say we need to put America first. You say, you like Trump's immigration policies, getting people out that don't belong here, and all this, that, and the other. Regardless of at this point, regardless of if they're illegal or not illegal, because there has been people deported that are here on legal status that came to the border, that went to a port of entry, that asked for asylum, that was granted temporary asylum, and in this country, I'm not going to say temporary asylum, that was granted to be able to come in this country and go to their court hearings, and they're getting arrested while they're going to the court hearings or checking in with ICE and stuff like that. Yet Trump's biggest thing here recently is he went and allowed white South Africans to come to our country. And some person in his administration literally said they will be able to assimilate better than other immigrants. They didn't say separately because they were white.
mhm.
And I'm sure that I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, Ethan. I feel like you allow and create comfort for white people to be racist. I'm gonna just say it. You give them the ability to say it's not much different than Byron Donalds, than Candace Owens, than many other black. And I don't consider you a grifter because you're not, because you don't get paid for anything. It's just your mindset and how you feel. But you allow and create comfort for them to continue to do what they do.
I'm a
And that's dangerous. And that's what Vanessa is saying. That's what V is saying is dangerous.
I'm a
That and
on that.
you want to disagree with me on that? Well, go ahead, please do.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that because his thinking isn't what allows them to do what they do or feel comfortable doing what they do. Our behavior as a collective allows them and makes them feel comfortable with what they do, whether Democrat, Republican. Our collective behavior allows them the comfort that they have.
And you got to expound on that more. What behavior in and of itself?
Our inactivity to do anything positive for ourselves without asking them for help, without asking them for permission. What holiday have we created that we didn't have to ask for? Or that we just said, we just gonna take this day off? Chinese people take their day off with New Year, Chinese holiday. We ain't doing nothing today.
If they own that business, they can take whatever day off they want. If you work for someone else, you can take the day off, but you're gonna be charged for it.
As long as we do not hold,
you got to have the levers of power. You have to have the levels of power. You can't just say.
How longer do you have to wait to create the power? Don't forget that every time we've created something of power, it was destroyed, burned down, or attacked.
Mm-hmm. That's all true.
Black Panthers, everything that we've created was for our own benefit, was destroyed or attacked by the other side, United States government to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
So, and our response to that is complacency, and just allowing it to be. You can't keep asking somebody who tell you they don't fuck with you for something.
All right.
At some point in time, you're gonna have to stand on your own feet, and that's what we're really fighting for: our right to exist on this planet. If you do not control your water, food, clothing, and shelter, and another people controls everything that gives you life, everything that makes it possible for you to survive, then that's your fault. His thinking is a direct result of us not creating any textbooks and teaching our own schools. American history is white history. We may get a paragraph in a book, but American history is white history.
I agree.
They don't have to go to school to study white history. They don't have to go to college to learn white history. We have to go to college to learn African American history. When it shouldn't be. Until we take control of our own education, you're gonna have people like Ethan. He can't see it because he wasn't taught it. He can't see it, and that's our fault, not his.
Okay. Ethan, I'm gonna give you a chance to respond to that, and then I want to bring on the next guest. V, I'm gonna let you go for a minute because I want to bring on the next guest. Ethan, go ahead and respond, and I'm gonna bring on the next guest.
I mean, I don't really have nothing to say. I mean, he feels as though I wasn't taught, you know.
What do you know about yourself?
What do I know about my skin color? Is that what you're asking?
Skin color means nothing. Your personal history. What do you know about the history of your people prior to America?
What do I know about my ancestors? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. What do you know about your ancestry prior to America? Prior to the United States, I should say.
Nothing.
Okay.
Like, I mean, to you, that's important. To me, I don't care. So, like, if you feel like, again, I really don't care. But like I was saying, like you feel as though like I wasn't taught
ancestry.
Nah, again, for the third time, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. So, he feels as though I wasn't taught. I mean, to each their own. I only got nothing to say too much about that. That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna bring on the next guest, Easy. Welcome on. If you got your video, go ahead and throw it on now because I got you up. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome back to the couch.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Man, I've been itching. I'm like, shit, man, get me in here. All right. So Rue and Ethan, thank you guys for coming back. I want to say something. I have a question for both of you, real quick. But before I want to talk about institutionalization. Am I saying it right? So I was in the Navy for a long time, for 23 years. I was institutionalized, right? So the part of that is you don't know that this stuff is going on. So with the institutionalized racism, you don't know that it's racism happening. Like right now, I have a problem when I got out of the Navy walking on grass. Nobody else does that because it's institutionalized in my head that I can't walk on grass. So I'm not. So Ethan, we can't blame you because you can't see that racism. It's because it's subliminal. It's below that level. So you got to dig a little bit to understand where the racism is coming from. When they keep talking about redlining and all these other things that they put into place, you have to really peel that layer back to understand that. And again, it is very insidious. You have to really look at it. So my question to y'all is, of all the, because last time y'all were on, I've been in this a couple months now, right? It's been at least 2 months.
Yes, it's been a couple months. It's been a couple months.
So I want y'all to share, if y'all didn't, because I logged off for a minute. What of the Trump policies specifically that y'all enjoyed that, or tell me about? Yeah, it was great. That's why I voted for him, because I wanted him to do blank. Look at Ruben. Look, he's smiling, right? So I guess you up first. But what about these policies that he has? His executive orders, all this. Please tell me what you all really enjoy or think was great about what he's done in his first 1,000 years in office. It feels like 1,000 years so far. Go ahead.
Well, okay. I'll speak to that. What I like that he's done is what we're doing right now. Exactly what we're doing right now. We're opening the discussion back up. We're putting things on the table. We're concerned about us as a people again. When the Democrats in office, we think everything's sweet. And it ain't never sweet. It ain't never sweet. It ain't never gonna be sweet until we make it sweet. So I personally don't give a damn about Trump. I could care less about Trump. I don't care about Trump at all. I care about what we gonna do. And him being in office got us on our feet and got us talking. He's doing exactly what I wanted him to do. And I'm hoping that we take this opportunity to make something tangible and long lasting happen.
So let me ask you. So do you not see us losing ground?
If we losing ground, we never had it. How can you lose?
Hold on. That's completely not true. Even in war, you're on that ground. You can't tell me that I wasn't on this ground right here. That now that I'm 2 miles back.
You didn't own it. You didn't.
That's besides the point. I was on that ground. So we are losing.
You,
We are losing ground.
If somebody can take it from you, you never had it. The same way, if somebody has to make a law for you to be a real person, you're not a real person.
So let's go to the Native Americans. Native Americans was here and owned this land for 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus came in 1492. He came, he landed, and since then they're reduced to Oklahoma and different shit around there. Are you telling me they never owned it? That was never theirs for that 1,000 years.
They didn't take it through no voting, no laws. They took it by force. That's a different subject.
You just moved the goalpost, bro.
And
you just moved the goalpost.
You telling me somebody took something from you by writing it down? They didn't actually come and take it.
They absolutely did.
It's a big difference between taking it by force and making you believe you had something and then changing the words to, oh, you ain't got it no more. That's a big difference.
But we run by laws. We are governed by laws.
No, we ain't, because your example shows that we not run by laws. Christopher Columbus wasn't governed by no law. He made it happen with his own will. It had nothing to do with no law. He could give a damn about the law. This land was taken by force by criminals. That is facts. And you believe the law of a criminal. You accepted the law of a criminal. And you believe and you trusted the word of a criminal. So that was your own misconception by believing and trusting the word of a criminal who's shown you no mercy, no grace, no peace.
So why the hell would you put another criminal in charge
They all
and,
criminals.
and expect and expect?
All of them
Go,
criminals.
go, go ahead, Easy. Go ahead, Easy.
I'm sorry.
I can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you,
I was
Easy.
just agreeing with Ruben. All of them criminals. That's all. I'm with you. Amen to that.
So you think so now, Easy, I'm gonna ask you. So you think Barack Obama, let's go with Barack Obama. You think Barack Obama was a criminal
Yep.
Yeah,
as a president?
I don't. I honestly don't trust any politician.
No, this
any politician. They all have to do certain things to get into positions they in. You know, again, they all do what they got to do to be where they at, and they gonna do some dirty things. It's just it. It is what it is. That's how I feel about it. So,
okay,
yeah.
but so you're not saying. So let's go back to your to my original question. Do you think they're all quote unquote criminals?
Criminals?
Don't try to back down.
Hey,
oh my goodness! Yeah.
I don't trust none of them. I really don't, because they're gonna, you know, you know, when we get down to where we're saying the lesser of the evils, because they're evils, right? Because they're criminals. So that's where we're like, what's our easiest way to go? You know, like this one ain't gonna do as bad, but again, I
agree with you there.
It's all a game. It's all a game, and it's that's just how I feel. It's all a game, and they're gonna make their money. Just follow the money. What everybody's doing. Again, how much does the president make? $250,000 a year, like whatever the salary is. Like
it's like
who
$450.
goes
Like
through all this just for that much? That I said this before. It's because you're getting all the other stuff. And again, I get it that you get to direct the direction of the country and you get to do these things, but listen, you got to do some things to get to where you at.
Absolutely, and I agree with you there. However, we got to go with what we have, the system that we have, unless you want anarchy. And how do we progress in the system that we have? That's how I look at it. And
term limits for one. Let's talk about term limits.
I would love term limits. I would love term limits. I would absolutely love term limits. We got it for the president. We should have it for everybody.
Supreme Court. Like, why are they in for life? These people be 90 years old. Like they ain't even thinking about shit. But they still, you know.
I think we're gonna hit a nerve.
But I never heard Ethan say about what Trump policies that he has enjoyed or he likes that he's implementing since our last talk.
Yeah, you want me to go ahead, or do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead. It's on you, because we got to bring in some guests, because I think we struck a nerve. We got a bunch of guests that want to talk. So, go ahead and talk before I let the guests in.
Some of the things I don't agree with everything. Clearly, I mean, I don't agree with everything from any president, but I like his immigration policies and, you know, cracking down on the border. I like that he's trying to put America first. I like him getting rid of DEI. I like him putting reciprocal tariffs on countries. I like that he's cutting down on people taking advantage of the Social Security and food stamps. I like those things. I like that he's trying to make our food better. Trying to get rid of dyes and stuff in our food. Those are just a few of the little things that I do appreciate that he did.
All right, so before everybody's talk, I'm gonna go on a couple things. First off, I'm gonna talk on tariffs. I'm gonna ask a simple question, and then I'm gonna go to the next question. Who pays the tariffs? Like when he imposes a tariff on China, when those goods get to America, who pays the tariffs?
That's not a good question.
No, hold on. Let me finish. You mean by we do, like Americans pay it?
So if we're tariffing their goods,
yes,
right, and then we still buying their goods, is that what you're saying?
Yes, like they come into the port, and now somebody has to pay the extra, the whatever percent he has on it. Who actually
ultimately.
ultimately pays those tariffs?
Yeah.
I mean, and we would pay if we're still buying foreign goods. Yes.
So you're saying so you're okay with Americans paying the tariffs? That's basically my question.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now the
Because
next thing,
tariffs,
go ahead.
tariffs. If again, so if I'm buying something from China and it's I have to pay more because of the tariffs, right? That
Hmm.
would incentivize me to then buy American, right?
Yes, it
Okay,
it,
so
it
that's
would.
what.
However, comma, this is why he has backed off, and this is why he's called Taco Trump at this point, is because he had to be real. He had to realize that a lot of the things that he want to be made in America, Americans don't want to make. Dave Chappelle said it perfectly. I want to buy Nikes. I don't want to make Nikes. That's America. They don't want to do it. They don't want to put screws into to little iPhones and stuff like that. To make it in America would cost double or three times double the price. $3,000 for an iPhone. That's
I
1,500
agree.
now. So
Again,
so
I
you
understand,
go ahead.
but I just believe that we should be buying American goods. That's what I believe. Even if it's going to cost more, I think
I don't. Mhm.
putting money, circulating money into our own country is what's important. So that's why I agree with the tariff.
And I don't have a problem with us buying goods in and of itself, except that we created a system where it is cheaper for us to import it than it is to get it. Now I want to go to the second point because this one I think involves us, everybody that's in this conversation here more than anybody else, which is the stuff that he's doing to food camps, food stamps, and Medicaid. What he's doing to those programs is overwhelmingly going to affect poor people.
Okay.
We have more black per capita poor people than we do white folks. I'm saying like the percentage of black folks that are in poverty is more, and minorities in general is more than you have through white folks. And so what you said, which is you're happy what he's doing with food stamps, you're happy what he's doing with Medicaid, will overwhelmingly affect more black folks than anybody else. And that would affect your family in and of itself. And I'm gonna just speak for myself. I can't speak for your upbringing. I'm gonna just speak for myself. I grew up on food stamps. I fucking hated using them, but I grew up on them. I remember going to the community clinic. I remember all of it. I remember going get and waiting in line to get the free cheese, the yellow block of cheese. I remember waiting, going in line and doing all those things.
Hmm.
So for people, so now that I'm in a better position, do you think I don't want that to stop for the people that are behind me and to look
Okay.
at it like, well, we need to create this, we need to create that, we need to make it harder for them to be able to use those things that help me get to where I am.
Okay.
There's a lack of empathy there, and it's a selfishness. I'm gonna just speak. That's how I look at it. It's selfishness for us to be out there and for people to think that, hey, these people don't need it. These people we're willing to cut it. It's
But they're not.
selfishness and there's no empathy. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk for a
They're
second. Then I'm
not.
gonna start
They're
bringing the
not.
panel on.
They're not willing to. Again, I don't. They're not trying to cut it. I'm not
But they
saying that.
are. But they
They're
are.
not.
Hold on,
They're
hold
not.
on. That's
Not trying.
completely not true. So to
They're
say that
cutting it.
they're not. Hold on. I gotta speak. I gotta overstep you because you about to say bullshit.
Go ahead.
To say that they're not cutting it, however, comma they're saying in a budget is going to be cut by $800 billion. You
Okay.
you can't make sense of it. You can't say that in one stroke they're not cutting it, and the people that you voted for are saying that they're cutting it by $800 billion. It don't.
Yes.
What you're saying don't make sense. The math ain't mathing. It's just not.
Okay.
That's just the reality.
You want me to now
Go
elaborate?
ahead. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so just because you cut it by a certain percentage of money doesn't mean you're cutting it. So when you say that it's getting cut, in my eyes, I look at it as being cut as a whole. I do not believe it's getting cut as a whole. Is it going to be some trimming? Yes. Do I believe that there should be some trimming? Yes. But that's not cutting it. So when you say cut it, that's like getting rid of it. I don't believe that they're not getting rid of it. I believe that it should be cut for certain people. I believe that people abuse the system, and I believe that it should be more difficult for people to hold on to it. You should not be born into food stamps, and then when you turn 18, now you go get food stamps. I don't agree with that. I don't think you should be having food stamps for 18 years of your life. I don't. So I think there should be some way. There should be some regulation in it to where, like, hey, you're from 0 to 10 years old. Once you turn 10, like you should have your life. You should at least be able to take care of your child in 10 years, 11 years. Like, at what point do we get off of the government's titty? And that's how I look at it. Is we're subsidizing you. It's supposed to be temporary, but it becomes a permanent thing for generations. I don't agree with that.
All right, I have so much to ask, but EZ got his hand up first, and we're gonna go down the line. We're going with EZ. We're going to keep you coming next. EZ, go ahead and go.
All right. So Ethan said something. He was he liked that they cut DEI, like Trump cut DEI initiatives. So that was something that really I want to hear about that, because DEI, I really want him to explain to me what DEI means to him, because people really got that twisted up. They got that twisted up of what DEI means. And I'll share a story that this happened today. One of my department heads did a talk today, and he's a white male, and he talked about how he came from New York, where it was integrated, and he had all these things as a kid, and he moved to Florida to a all white area, and he said that he was taught, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but he knew that everybody can't reach their bootstraps. Everybody can't do that. Ethan, everybody is not able to say, oh, I'm coming off a food stamp because of, guess what? Institutionalized racism, right? So, but again, you have to look at the big picture and the history. I know Ruben asked you about your people, and you was like, you don't care about that, but all this stuff matters. But tell me about DEI and why that was a great idea. Tell me about that. That's really what I want to know.
So you asked me what DEI is? Is that what you're asking me?
He asking why is cutting it a great idea? Why was cutting it a great idea?
I think I know.
I don't believe.
Hold on, Ruben. We're gonna get to you. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Ethan. You thought it was a good idea too?
Find what he understands DEI to be.
Oh, okay. So what do you think DEI to be? Okay, let's go with both. What do you think it to be, Ethan? And why do you think it was a good idea?
I believe the DEI is to expand upon, to try to expand different races in the office space or whatever. The work setting is to try to have more representation of different races.
So go ahead.
Be diverse in the workplace.
So that's not really what it is. What it was to be is to give people more opportunity to even be interviewed, to be able to have the chance for other people to see, for the people in power, and that's what I think you
yes, but
understand.
Okay, so to give people more opportunity, right? So now I'm looking at a different, because I'm not looking at the normal pool, right? That's what you're saying. So if I'm applying for, or if I'm looking for an applicant, I can't look at the normal. I can't look at the normal pool. I have to look at a specific pool to give those.
No. It's not looking at a specific pool. It is to expand to pool. It's to go from a lake to a river. It's to go from a river to an ocean. It's not to say you only can be in this pool. It is to expand the pool because for instance, hold on. Let me tell you what was the DEI initiative for the U.S. Army. Your DEI initiative for the U.S. Army was to go to HBCUs and talk to the engineering departments and different departments about trying to come in there and teaching them what the military is about. Why is that important? Because there is so many black folks that don't know what the military has to offer. So this was the entire initiative. Hey, this is what we have to offer as an employer. And you help your country, you help yourself. And so it gives them the opportunity to know something that they didn't know. That was considered a DEI initiative. So it's not about you have to hire. It's not DEI is different from affirmative action. Affirmative action is you need to have certain amount of numbers. DEI was strictly to create an opportunity for people to be able to for people to in charge And whether you want to recognize it or not,
This is
the
definition.
people in charge is actually it's majority, vast majority of white folks. To be able to go into different communities and actually recruit and learn and be able to give people a chance to say, "Holy shit, he's smart as shit. I think I want to take the chick. I think I want to do this guy." Regardless of racial identity but without DEI, they wouldn't have gotten an interview with that guy. That's what it's about. Giving people the chance. It's the Rooney rule in the NFL. All right, so I'm gonna continue on. Ethan, I just wanted to say that because we got so many people going here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Keith, you've been waiting for a minute. I'm gonna let you talk, and then I'm gonna go to Holly and Ronnie and Miss Diva. Go ahead, Keith.
First, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
All right. So I mean, it's too much to unpack in just this podcast. So I'm hopefully
we can
have another a follow up for this one. That first of all, I'm breaking a rule that whenever I see Rue, I'm never getting on the podcast. Period. So I'm breaking a rule today. Just when I see Ruben, I'm not coming. But today, though, I'm glad I did come because Rue has just informed me what I didn't know, and I'm glad I listened to him because I think we are on the same coin, both sides of the coin. I think he's the Malcolm X of what he's trying to do, and we're the MLK. We're trying to go through what we've seen and done. We're trying to blow it up. He's right. We are going under rules of criminals, and we've built a whole country on criminals. So that's a different story. So for the first time after listening to all this, I think I'm with Rue. So I'm gonna go. That's my first time hearing it. But anyway, with Ethan here, to try to help with Ethan, for me, I don't know if he'll ever understand it. Ethan, to our struggle as Black people, is what flat Earth people, the flat Earthers are. He's a flat Earther. He's even told us he doesn't really even care to understand or care about the history. So if you're a flat Earther, we're talking about all these things about the Earth that deal with the curvature of the Earth, going into space, going to the other side. All the stuff with systemic racism that we're talking about is systemic. If he fundamentally does not believe there's systemic racism, he's not going to hear any of that. He does not hear that losing the food stamps and cutting any portion of it hurts because he feels there's no systemic racism. We should be able to not be poor. We have an even playing field. So like that, I had a list. Like if he saw the lynching of George Floyd, I won't call it a lynching, George Floyd, he said, George Floyd shouldn't have brought that 20 in there. And that would have happened to anyone. If you saw Andre Hill with that cell phone and they shot him because he had a cell phone, he shouldn't have had the cell phone, or they made a mistake. He doesn't understand the systemic racism that comes to make those decisions that cause all that to happen. He just does not see it. He has no see it. He's not experienced enough. He should not have to experience it to believe it, but he needs to learn about it. And for him, sadly, I think he's going to have to experience it, and it's all going to come flooding to him. I don't want him to have to experience it. I want him to learn from people who've had it happen, so he doesn't have to do that. So that's a lot to unpack. That's just a little portion of it. I don't want to take up everybody's time, but hopefully you'll have another follow-up when we just continue this podcast. Because thank you.
Yeah, we got to continue this on, and I want to give Ethan, and I actually want to let Ruben talk for a minute before I come to you, Holly. I'm coming to you after I want Ethan to give him a chance to talk, and then I want to give Ruben a chance.
I don't believe, again, just my opinion, I don't believe that anything could happen for me to say that, oh, racism is a thing. I understand that there are racist people. I never said that there wasn't. It's just when you say racism as a whole, like I don't believe. But I have a question to, I guess, the audience, something that happened to me, and you tell me if that's a racist situation, and I'll say how I took it.
Let's go.
So I drive a Tesla, which is a decent car, and I get pulled over, and a cop comes up to me and asks, "Hey, is this your car?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Is this your car?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Are you sure this is your car?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he asks for my license, and then I don't get a ticket. And he's like, "Hey, I was just letting you know you passed the double lines. You can't do that." I'm like, "Oh, all right, cool." And I keep it
No,
pushing.
don't
So,
let him
and
answer that.
no,
Let who answer it?
I was just asking in
Oh,
general.
No,
If
don't ask in general. What did you feel in that moment?
no, I'm gonna
No, no, no,
answer
no, no, no,
after.
no, no,
no,
no.
no, no.
I
We
want
we
you
we
to know.
we, we, we want to hear before we go forward. Let's
Well,
see how did you feel about it?
well, I want you guys is,
Yeah, we'll give you our opinion, but how did it make you feel before we give you our opinion?
he was asking me if it's my car, and I believe that it could it have been a racist thing? Sure, that's how you want to look at it.
No, that's
But
not that could have been. So you're saying it wasn't.
not, you want me? I'm trying to answer.
Okay.
Okay, could it have been a racist thing? Okay, could it have been that my license plate says a disabled person, and he comes up to me and I'm 30 years old? Yeah. Could it have been? To me, it could have
Not
been
in
a multiple
Texas, bro.
race.
Everybody in Texas got a DV plate. I'm not gonna play it. We're not gonna do that today because everybody in Texas got a
Yeah,
D.
you're
I ain't gonna say
asking.
everybody. I'm just saying. I'm
So you asked.
I'm being specific. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
asked how
Yeah,
I
yeah. Go
took it.
ahead. Okay.
So to me, there could have been a multitude of different things. The way that you view the world, you may look at that as racist.
Yeah.
The way that I view it is it could have been a multitude of different things. He sees me driving a nice car. He sees that
Mm-hmm.
I'm handicapped, and he's like, where's your pops or whatever? Like, why? Like, who car? Because
Mm-hmm.
he comes up to a person. If I see a disabled person, I've already come up to and in my mind, I see what a disabled person is supposed to look like. You know, you may not look like the person that I expected to look like. So then I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to make sure, maybe you didn't hear the question that I asked. So he asked it again. But again, if you view it as racist, then I mean, that's why we just fundamentally see it differently. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't think I will ever run into a situation where I just, oh, that's racist. So that's
Right.
why I gave that example to say,
Yeah.
like, I guess I experience it all the time. I don't fucking know,
The
like, but I
flat
don't see that
earth.
as racist.
All right.
Flat earth.
Yeah. So Ruben, I'm gonna let you go. You've been shaking your head, and then we're gonna go. Holly, I'm coming to you after Ruben. After Ruben go, I'm coming to you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ruben.
The fact that you used that as an example and you had to ask that question is proof of itself, man.
Why did
Fact
I ask the question?
That's true.
that way is proof of what it was. Because if
How?
you wouldn't even the fact that it was in the back of your mind, and that was the first thing you thought to ask. Yeah, exactly what you thought it was.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Car isn't
Has
truck.
to do with everything.
What?
Hold
The
on,
reason
Rita.
why
sorry.
I asked the question is to see what you would view as a racist example, right? So try to put it into perspective of, hey, I quote unquote run into these situations and you would view it as racist. So I give an example of what I don't view as racist, but you do. So that's why I gave that example. I don't think
Is
about that what happened to me
Tesla
on a daily man. I don't give a damn.
is you driving a Tesla a crime?
No, that's not why I was pulled over though.
Right. So, and it has nothing to do with why you was pulling over.
Okay.
It was the double lines. The fact that he asked you more than once if it was your car was proof that he couldn't believe that your young black self was driving a Tesla. He probably can't
Incorrect.
afford a Tesla himself. He
You
like,
said
Incorrect.
incorrect. Why is that
Yeah.
incorrect? Why is that incorrect?
So how I view it, again, why I brought the example up is how I view it is I understand that with me being a disabled vet, I tend to get away talking to the cops without getting tickets. I've been pulled over 6 times and I haven't got a ticket since I've been given my experience. So I'm just giving my experience.
Yeah.
So I tend to get away with talking to the police and they'd be like, all right, go ahead about your day. And I'm like, all right, cool, appreciate you, bro. And we chop it up and keep it pushing.
You
I've been
changed
pulled
the
over.
subject. You changed the subject, though. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to. The reason why I'm cutting you off is because what Ruben just asked you was, why do you think he asked you more than one time? And you went into DV plates. That's
I'm trying to
different
give
from.
No, I'm giving an example. I'm
Okay.
answering his question.
Go ahead.
So the reason why I went into DV plates again is because he's looking at like, hey, if this is a disabled veteran, I may cut him some slack. I might not just write him a ticket for crossing double lines. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Versus if he was speeding 100 miles per hour, I may cut him some slack. But let me see if this is really his car, because it says DV. I may want to give him some slack, but if it's not his car, then I'm not going to give him slack. That's how I view it. So that's, in my opinion, why he asked the question. I understand that it had nothing to do with me getting pulled over to begin with. He asked again because he's like, okay, maybe he didn't understand the question that I asked, because again, this is not a disabled vet. This is not what a typical disabled vet looks like. So let me ask the question again. That's how I view it.
Yeah, okay. And I appreciate how you view it, but I'm gonna just tell you before I let Holly go that I feel like you give comfort to racism. I'm just being completely honest
And
here. And huh?
you shut me down because I just had one last thing that's
Go
just
go ahead, Ruben, before I go to Holly.
I just wanted to get a piece to Keith because he's starting to see. He's starting to see. He's starting to see. All right,
I do, man. I do.
on
I
the
do.
other side. I'm with you.
I,
I'm
do.
just
I see your madness. I see the method to your madness.
we going the same way. Whoever
Hey.
gets first, if you get there before I get there, at least we get there.
All right, Holly. Thank you for waiting patiently. Welcome back to the couch. The floor is yours.
Thank you. And I just really, the lady that was on before is, well, there was two things, because somebody says that they were all crooks, and then somebody in the chat asked what did
That
Obama
was
do that
easy.
was crooked.
Yeah,
So,
that was yeah.
who said they all crooks?
Yeah, that Easy said that, but then he came back. Actually, it was Easy and Ruben, and
Okay.
that said that they was all crooks and
Okay.
just
But the lady that was on before, I think her name is Vanessa.
Vanessa. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, because it really hit home with me. We were in Virginia this past weekend, and we stopped in a predominantly Black neighborhood at one of the gas stations. And when I tell you that gas station, because she was talking about how the stores in certain neighborhoods are a certain way. This particular gas station was absolutely filthy. Okay. But it's in our neighborhood and we patronize this place. If in my husband and I were talking, I was like, if this same BP was in a more, they wouldn't even fathom it being in this neighborhood in this condition. But because it's in a Black neighborhood and Black people gonna continue to go in there and patronize it, we walk back out. There's no way I'm gonna give you a dime of my money because you walking through this door. It shows me what you think about this neighborhood that you are put here to serve. So I think we have to be more cognizant of that too. Because like I said, there's no way you would have walked in that store in Virginia Beach somewhere, you know what I'm saying? One of these nice neighborhoods. They wouldn't even think to have that store in that neighborhood in that condition it was in. It was filthy. I didn't even want to touch the door. That's how filthy it was. So when she said that, it kind of struck the point that we have to take ownership of the things that we can control. And I know that maybe that particular store, maybe that's the only store in that neighborhood or whatever. I don't know. But I think we have to, as a people, recognize that they don't give a crap. And it was the Arab that, I'm just calling it like it was. It was the Arabs that was running the store. They don't give a crap. They behind the glass in the back and the whole 9 yards, and they sliding your money through a little slot, and the store looked like crap. So I'm just looking, and like that was a form of discrimination and racism to me, in that, in the way that store was maintained.
Yeah.
In the way that they handle their patrons. But when she came on, that's just that first came to my mind. As far as the racism thing with Ethan, I think he's gonna have to, like somebody else said, experience it smack dab in your face to really understand that it does exist. And it probably will always exist in our lifetimes, at least. I don't see it going anywhere or anything like that. Only thing we can do as a people is try to educate and do our part within our families and within our communities. That's all I think we can do about it. But
okay,
I touched on what I said earlier. Our behavior gives them comfort. The fact that we keep patronizing it, we keep accepting less, our behavior gives them comfort to where they don't have to change. But when we change, they change. When we boycotted the buses, they changed. When we started protesting in the streets, they changed. That's what our behaviors was going to make the difference more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
And when people realize,
I think we have to pick. We
power.
have to. I want to push back on because I agree with you, but I think we have to do it in a manner that we can do it and continue to progress us let's not look at it in a manner where we are what's the best way to we're not getting killed like we can't create anarchy and think that we're going to succeed because we will be crushed. So
What do
we
you mean?
have to go ahead.
Can
I can't hear you.
Can you define anarchy for me? Like, what do you mean by anarchy?
So let's go with something I just learned today, and we're gonna talk about it next week. Next week's episode, we're gonna talk about black gun ownership. So I'm gonna let that out right now, and how we are where we are and where we're at with that, and looking at black. They call them riots, but they was really black massacres. So when black folks came back from Columbia, Tennessee, and a situation happened that was wrong. They wronged black folks. We had tactics from World War II. We knew how to handle ourselves. All they did was bring in the National Guard and the Army to crush us. So when I mean by anarchy is we can't create anarchy and think that we're going to succeed in the way we need to succeed. The only way to get where we need to get to is through the political system, unless we leave. There is no other way. So
That's not necessarily true, Bobby. It's not necessarily
go
true.
ahead. Let's talk about it.
I think me and Rue are on it. What do you feel about Ibrahim Traore over there? I think there are ways to do things, and I would believe that Rue is on board with Ibrahim over there, Traore in Africa. That
Burkina Faso.
Yes, that
Correct.
things can be done. It doesn't have to be anarchy. It's just that we have been programmed because we know when we combine and get together is the number one thing that this country would do, would try to tear that up. So we have to figure a way to do it successfully and to guard it and do it. And you could do it within the system or around the system. It could be done. And that's the scary thing that they've proven to us, that you and I, Bobby, I think we try to do it the MLK way. We want to go through the system and use it, which we can. That's a way. But sadly enough, there may have to be a different way also to do it. And we might have to get there on an arc. These people here and us there. I mean, it's scary to say, but it may take something like that. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, and I would love to hear that. Yeah.
Anarchy, Bobby?
Absolutely not. Boycott is which is in with the rules. Not to say that they're going to follow the rules. Not to say that they're not going to fuck with us and not going to do the things, to try to stop us. And I'm not saying that everything need to be MLK. We need to play within the rules that they created for themselves, which is why I want to talk about next week's episode of Black gun ownership, because we need to play within the rules that they created for themselves. We do.
Do they follow them?
They'll change them in a second.
Trump doesn't.
The suit.
Right. You know what?
I know we got to talk about
they don't. I'm gonna say that they don't follow them and they can get away with it. I mean, like the fact that they gave that woman that stormed the Capitol $5 million after she got shot.
Yes.
They don't. They will be victims. I agree with that.
The one who called the young black child a nigga at the playground in the GoFundMe was like a 600,000.
Yeah, almost a million, $500,000.
Yeah. All right,
I got the rules.
I gotta continue on. I gotta get some other people that came on and wanted to chime in. Miss Diva, Ronnie, I'm coming to you next. Miss Diva, what do you got to say about what you heard so far?
Well, I have one question. I think it was for Ruben. I think I put it in the chat. Let me go back and find it. Oh, he said that
I don't know. No, I think it was easy. All politicians do dirty things. What dirty things did Obama do?
I think they're talking more about the position of getting there to get to that
Yeah, but
position.
well, still, what did he do? What dirty
He
things did he
put
do to
grown
get to the position?
girls.
He
Say
what?
again.
He put grown men in the bathroom with little girls.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's BS. That's BS.
That's bullshit.
What?
So,
That's
so
Not,
bullshit.
what did
did
dirty
not do
things
that.
did he
Are you
do?
saying he didn't do that? Or you say that isn't facts under him? Did he
I'm
not?
saying that isn't a fact. That's
That
exactly
isn't
what I'm
fact.
saying.
Oh,
So
my
you said you're
all right,
saying
all
it
right,
is? Prove
Ruben,
it.
can I ask you a
gotta go
question?
be honest. We can't have a
Prove
real
it.
No,
Prove
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
Come on now.
In this
Now
country, you're innocent till proven
pronoun,
guilty.
yeah,
Prove it.
pronouns and all that stuff. So let me ask you a question, Ruben. I'm gonna shut it down. Ruben, I'm asking you a simple question. I guarantee that if you look right now, and it's 100% guarantee, if you look right now and look up molestation, you will find more cases of priests and pastors
And white
molesting
men.
kids, molesting kids than you will of transsexuals.
Of white men, mostly
That's
Christian
what you
men.
will find. Now, we're not gonna make this into a should transsexuals this, that, and the other, but that is a red herring. That is the red herring that Reagan, that the white folks use to keep us down.
That's like the Willie Horton
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. That is the new black folks. Immigrants and
Yep.
trans are the new black people. And what
Yep.
they and the smartest shit about it. Hold on, before you talk, I'm gonna give you the floor. But the smartest shit about it is they got somebody like you,
Yep.
who is super pro black, to
Yep.
say, shit, fuck them. Fuck them. We need to get rid of them. Now you looking at other people that are disenfranchised.
I have transsexual family members. What are you talking about?
So go ahead.
So are they rapists? Are they
Are they
fucking
rapists?
around with little children?
They still should be in the bathroom with those little girls.
Have you seen a transsexual woman? You know what she looks like? Would you rather her be in the men's bathroom?
Yes.
Her own
Look at-
bathroom.
Okay, there you go.
The woman that was on
there.
Orange is the New Black.
You got the family.
There have been
I
trans.
There's no
There have been
no
trans who
circumstance
have been
where
on the cover of
trans women
Sports
should be in the bathroom.
Illustrated.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this.
That's who you want in the men's
no
bathroom.
Hold on. Do y'all know in Europe that there are co-ed bathrooms? Do you know places in America
There's
are
there's
co-ed
bathrooms
bathrooms?
here.
There are co-ed bathrooms in America.
I went to
there are.
one. I went
And
in
that was
one
way before.
Use Europe as an example.
Yeah.
You ever been in an airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that let
do
that
you
slide.
know who
Show me
Chad Bono is?
In the Middle East that let that slide.
I don't.
Why the fuck do I want to live like the Middle East? I absolutely do not.
Me either.
I don't know anybody that's coming on here that want to live like the Middle East.
Women have no rights in the Middle East.
Anybody that's Muslim or anything. This is not against the religion in and of itself. And let me just start with that. But I don't want their rules, just like I don't want many Christianity rules against me. We are supposed to be. We are not, but we're supposed to be a non-secular country. That's what we were supposed to be.
Since when?
Since its inception.
Since its inception. That's what it's supposed to be. And you have founders. You have founders that talked about that during the inception of the religion. Ronnie, I'm gonna give you a minute. Go ahead, because you've been waiting for a while. Go ahead. Sorry, brother.
No. I love this. You already know how I get out. Like, I love this because opening.
Easy, you up next.
Hey, Ronnie, can I say one thing to Ruben before we lose it? I want to tell Ruben, when you talk about Obama, I think you throwing the baby out with the bathwater. He did one thing that you don't like, and I disagree with it. But do not throw Obama out with the bathwater. He's an ally, and you should know he's an ally, and don't throw him all the way out because a thing that you don't agree with him with. There's a lot of things you will agree with.
Great point.
You get ready to. I think that's all you were doing with Obama. So please just reevaluate that and not like. You don't like that, that's fine. But don't throw Obama out like that. He is an ally to what we think we're going to do.
That he did do that though, because at first they said he did do that, but
no, I don't think he put babies in them. You oversimplifying it, but that's for another time. It's oversimplifying it. But even though when you say that, you say it so animated, so you want us to feel icky about it, like you put some icky people. That's why Bobby's trying to tell you that even if you say that to me, that's not icky to me because those people are not harming our children. So it's not icky, is the way you putting it. Like, ooh, they're doing that. You could put a transgender in with my kid right now. I'm not afraid of transgender. Once one white man comes in there, I'm afraid of with my children.
Now, what about Muammar Gaddafi? Wasn't he assassinated under Obama?
For the same reason, though. For the
And
same reason. But it's
was
prior
he
to
not
Obama.
assassinated under? Have you ever read Gaddafi's The Green Book?
Yes, so that's why I say it's a whole. We got a whole nother thing. Let's not take it off. Let's not take it off. Let's get money in
Yeah,
there. Let's take it off.
Name something else. I get off the bathrooms. I'll get off the bathrooms and go to Gaddafi. If you
wasn't just Obama alone, no. That's not Obama. You know, sometimes you have to do certain things to get to where you want to be. But
yeah,
let's not take it off, though.
If you get the opportunity, read what Gaddafi, in his own words, had to say about African American people and African people across the world. Period. That's all I'm saying. If you read what he's had to say about us, you might think differently.
We'll do.
So I'm gonna just say this. Hitler looked at the fucking Nazi race. I mean, looked at white people as they was inferior. I mean, was the shit and this, that, and the other.
White on white crime.
But hold on. But then he massacred millions of people. That don't make him a bad person. Just because he like your people or our people don't make him a good person. I'm gonna just say that. And Ronnie, go ahead and go.
America killed more people than him, I'm sure.
No, absolutely not. So listen, let's let's break this all the way down because I think we came off a tough topic, and I'm like, man, what was my final thought about something? I want to talk about something else. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about this part of it because I want to wait because I got so much for this side of it, and I'll simplify it all because we all kind of saying the same stuff, but we're not saying it the exact same way. It's really we're looking at a mirror, and we're all looking at the mirror, but we only see ourselves right now, right? But the mirror is ultimately reflecting on what it is, and we don't see the mirror because the mirror in the society that we work in right now is we don't have control over it. You've never had control. You know what has control over the freaking world? It ain't people. It's freaking money. It's always been money. It ain't go back to the biblical time. Go back to the biblical times. It ain't got nothing to do with now. This has been going on forever. So don't think that what we're doing now. Oh my God, this guy's doing the most. Man, it's been people. Go look what Mussolini did. If y'all want to see somebody that really massacred some people, that's the history you might want to go look at because he killed 3 times more people than Hitler ever did, right? So let's get off of that. Let's go back to what I wanted to talk about earlier was when they was talking about cutting the budget, right? He was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool to cut the budget, and I don't want people on food stamps." And I'm with you, Bobby. You don't leave people behind that needs you to pull them with you, right? So in the instance when they were doing this this budget thing, right? I was like, "Dang, this is so stupid. You're gonna add more bullets, but take more food, which don't make sense to me, right?" So I like to simplify stuff, right? So if I am in the house and I have a million guns and all the ammo and all the bombs I can possibly use, and my child or my friend's child or my people around the corner are hungry, you think I'm gonna go buy more bullets when I know they're hungry? Know what I mean? That's what people don't realize. This is a real thing. They got to really pay attention to what's going on. You always follow the money. The money's never going to disappear. They're not cutting the budget. They're rerouting money to other stuff. That budget is never going to be less than what it is ever. And people don't really understand. Oh, the budget's going to go. Yes, it's going to grow. You know what I mean? Yes, it's going to grow, but it don't need to grow 18 gazillion freaking trillion dollars. I don't need to put money in more bullets and guns and all the other stuff. I need to go feed people because you still need the people to go run those bullets and guns and run those ships and run all those systems that you need. If you don't have the proper people that's behind that, you better feed them first, right? Because the stem needs to be, or the seed needs to grow before the freaking stem in the tree, right? So let's go on the other part of this because I want to actually talk about this now. So this is actually like, dang, this is something that people don't really understand. Stop being twisted on by all this other stuff, man. All the politicians that y'all know, if you ever look at when they go, if you look at their net worth. Just simplify it. Look at their net worth from the day that they got in to the day that they got out. Any of them ever go in less
Mhm.
richer than they were.
Absolutely not. Yeah, but
So
we can
so
talk about
that
those
should
reforms.
right. So that should tell you that those people in there are. I'm not gonna say 100% of them, but a big majority of them are doing some stuff to make they
Yeah,
pockets a little fatter, right? You can't blame them from doing that because what you do out in the street, you hustle too,
yeah,
right? But they what they do is they do it and they take it away from people. That's what makes it criminal,
I agree.
right? That's what makes you look like an asshole, and that's what the government, or that's what this is. I shouldn't say that. That's what this administration is doing to people. They not looking out for these the people that really need the stuff. They looking out
Hmm.
all this money that's gonna go to his friends. And we go
I
back to the
agree.
terror part. What you was trying to ask Ethan, and I think was he understood, but he didn't want to answer the question. Ultimately, it's gonna be you, Ethan, when you go and pay when you went and bought when you went if you was to go buy another Tesla or another vehicle or some gas or some freaking whatever battery you're gonna need in that freaking Tesla. Today it might cost you 10,000. Next week, when them tariffs and that battery comes from China because all the pieces aren't
Hmm.
from China, you have to have the entire world. You can't just be yourself. It's no longer about yourself in this type of world anymore. You can't do it. Back
Yeah.
100, 200 years ago, yeah, we had all our own stuff.
Mm.
Now you have to you have to outsource or insource things from everybody, everybody around the world. Friends, enemies, people that you don't like, people that you don't even fuck with or whatever. You need stuff from them. I might have to tolerate them. I need this piece of whatever. That's how this how this works. You can't draw back down to yourself because you need support from everybody else around the world. Right? You cannot do that. The stuff that people are doing, what he's doing is very, very dangerous
You
because
have
all
to
the
have
pieces,
empathy.
because all our pieces are all our play pieces aren't in America. They're all across the freaking world, man. We got
Yeah.
all kind of things posted in other countries that I wish. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I just want you to take this into consideration. Another country. Let's call it our people. Let's call it England. Could you imagine a freaking master jet base in downtown Atlanta? Could you imagine that? Anybody?
No.
No.
No. But people don't realize what that cost us around you have to be participant. You have to be inclusive with all these people because they have a lot of stuff that we need and we need a lot of their land to use and to do
Hmm.
other stuff.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to
So
say. So you can't
is
you
tariff
can't look at it as
So
don't be the militant way. If you think about it, if you really want to go back and know your history, we the Persians go back to the Persians. Those were black folks. All of them was crooks. They had slaves, and so all of our rules and our laws and all that stuff originated with that kind of stuff. We moved away from a lot of the secular stuff because everybody different religions, right? That's what makes it all crazy. That's where you have all this mixture of anger because oh no, these are rules, these are rules, these are rules, or these are rules. No, bruh. But we look at them as their rules being bad, and they look at our rules are being bad. But ultimately, our rules are our own rules.
yeah.
You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah. I want to give Ethan a chance to talk, and then Easy, you next. Ethan, you got anything you would like to say
so
before I go to
you're
Easy?
so tariffs are like, is tariffs only bad for Americans when we're reciprocating the tariffs? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, because I'm not paying European money. I'm paying American dollars. I don't give a shit what the Canadians are paying. I want to
Okay,
know what
so
I have to pay here in America. So yes, absolutely.
so you just said that we got that's selfish. I'm looking at it from, like, you're saying that them having 125% tariffs and us having a 2% tariffs, like, that's, you said, like, that's fine. That's how it should be.
What do you? I'm confused. You
He
got
he
to
he talking
elaborate.
about terror. He talking about terror. So
No.
he's
I need.
saying
Elaborate what you're saying.
So
he's
them
saying
having 125% of tariffs on, like, let's say our milk, because they're incentivizing their people to put their money back into their thing. So, like, if they put 125% tax on our milk versus their milk, who milk they're gonna buy? They're clearly gonna buy theirs.
No,
So
no,
you're
no, no,
saying
no,
that,
no, no. So you got to look at volume too. So what I'm trying to
yeah.
say, don't you can't look at what you're thinking is equal. I think that's where you mess you don't understand how this all works. You know what I mean? We're not buying the same amount of steel from China as
Hmm.
we're giving them. we're selling them wheat. You understand what I mean? That's one of our out products. We sell them wheat because they don't grow it as like we grow it, but they still come in at 125%, right?
Okay.
What do you think our
No,
wheat's gonna make?
hold on,
What
hold
do
on,
you think our wheat's gonna make in China?
hold on. Let me step in. Just off of what you just said, which you talking about milk, because Trump used to say it for a while and he had to stop, and I think he had to stop
Mhm.
because I think the American people started realizing he was fucking full of shit. He would say that there was a 250% tariff. I can't remember the exact amount that he said it was, but
Mhm.
was that what he said, Ethan? I don't know if you know for sure.
I'm just agreeing. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I don't.
So
He
okay.
did say
Yeah.
it was a high number, of
It was
course.
a super high number. That
Mhm.
number was full of shit. And why was the number full of shit? Because we had to meet a certain demand as a country to get to that number. And then after we met the demand, so let's say we had to get to 100 million tons of milk to get
Mhm.
to, I'm just making up a number, to get to Canada. And once we got to that number, then it'll be a 250% tariff. Again, making up the number because I can't remember the exact everything.
Yes.
And so what he kept saying was it's a 250% tariff. It's a 250% tariff. But in reality, we never hit the trigger to make the tariffs go in. So you know what the tariff actually was? Fucking zero. That's where I think that you need to, my brother, actually go into and look at, because earlier today, I'm gonna say this before I come to you, Easy. Earlier today, I became your friend on TikTok and I looked at some of your videos. And the first thing the black girl started talking about was black Trump is gonna be the next best the next best president ever, or whatever.
Mhm.
And she started talking about South Africa and all this shit. All the shit that he's not gonna say all. I'm not gonna say all. Because I know you parse on words. So what I am going to say is a lot of the things that he said was complete and utter lies and bullshit. And I take it upon you
What
to
are you
find
referring
those
to?
things and actually open up, because I think like Keith, you said it perfectly, and this is why we have this podcast. We have this podcast so we can learn from each other. Keith, you learn from Ruben. I learned from you because when you said you feel like Ethan is a flat earther, I got that. That made me understand. That made me understand and agree. And now I'm beefing. Now, I ain't gonna say I'm beefing, but now I'm at odds with you two, Keith and Ruben, because I don't see y'all vision there. But we're gonna come back to that. And that's gonna be another pod. But Ethan, I want you to understand that a lot of the things that you are digesting is not true. It is just not true.
Can you
Um,
give an example?
I
Or
just
it's
told
just
you one. I just told you one. So for instance, the stuff when Trump showed in the Oval Office with the person from South Africa, the president from South Africa, and he showed it, dim the lights and do all of this shit. He brought
yeah.
up pictures. Those pictures are from the fucking Congo. The last I checked, when I was in Africa, the Congo is not in South Africa.
Not even
Okay.
close.
So you're saying the
Not,
video is not real?
no. Let me ask you a question. Was the MS-13 that he posted in the Oval Office, was that real on a man's hands? Was that real?
I don't. I
You
didn't do
don't know.
research
Okay, so
into it.
look
So
it up. So look it up. I'm gonna tell you right now. When you look it up, matter of fact, you ain't gotta look it up. Just go to my YouTube page and you'll see it on there. It's not real. It was Photoshop. But the man thought it was real because he's fucking senile, just like you want to say Biden is senile, which we
okay.
go there here and there. Easy, I'm gonna give you the floor. Go ahead, bro.
Man, man, y'all on fire tonight. So I'm gonna close with this. That's all I gotta say. So if we remove, I'm still on the DEI. I promise you, I'm still on the DEI. So let's talk about DEI and let's remove it. Let's really do it, because I work in the government. I work in. We talk about contracts, and we have government set asides for veterans. We have government set asides for women. We got government set asides for Alaska Native. All these things. So if we're gonna truly get rid of DEI, why are our vets? Why are y'all veterans getting money? Why y'all need? Hey, y'all can figure that shit out. Why are you getting extra money? Your disability. Figure it out. Figure it out. Get a regular job. Figure it out. You don't get that money no more. all you people who are handicapped, why you need a ramp? We ain't gonna put no ramps. We ain't gonna put all this extra stuff in there. All this inclusiveness. All these things are really what DEI is. All y'all women, okay, y'all gonna get in the line behind all the men. Get in line behind all the men. We're gonna get rid of all of this stuff. Let's really do it. If we're gonna do it, let's really do it. All right. So, but all the way down that line, we're gonna talk about minorities. But it's a whole bunch of people who benefit on DEI before black people do.
What does that have to do
But
with
again,
DEI? What is disability? Like you just
He's telling you. He is literally
I'm
telling you.
telling you.
You
So
guys,
let's
he does
hold
not
on.
understand.
I want to, Ethan. I want you to open up your ears and actually listen to what he's telling you as somebody who deals with DEI every day at work. So we're gonna start. Easy. I want you to start over again because I want you, Ethan, to actually listen so you can understand what all entails DEI. It's not just race based. It's not.
It's not.
Okay.
So where my job works, we do acquisitions for every single trainer in the Department of the Navy. All right. So if you're talking about a flight trainer, if you're talking about a curriculum, all these things, we do this. So and able to incentivize people because we got these big companies like Lockheed and all these people who take over these contracts. We have set asides, right? So we have small business administration. So set asides gives advantages or it gives opportunities to veteran owned people, woman owned businesses, minority owned businesses, Alaska Native, all of these things. So when all these EOs came out in my head, I'm like, okay, are we cutting off all these things? Or what are we doing? And then you really peel the onion back. Inclusivity means, hey, I'm gonna do something to make you feel inclusive, right? Again, everybody thinks it's a trans thing, but it's all the things. It is all the things. It is handicapped people being included. We have to make accommodations for them. Reasonable accommodations. Everybody know that about if you work for the government or work for a job that's going to do something. A reasonable accommodation. I have an ability, disability that prohibits me from doing blank. Now we have to accommodate you. We have to include you. So again, if we're going to
So
do the DEI,
were they included before DEI? They weren't included before 2020.
What?
They weren't included before 2020.
But what does it have to do with 2020?
So
If you're saying
if referring to DEI, right? DEI came about. That's what the big push came about 2020, right?
No, it came before that. The DEI actually started under the Trump administration. I mean, it started even before that. Like DEI has been going. Well, I can't speak to when it exactly started, but I know it was before 2020. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna just say that. Be fact.
So, like that's when it was getting pushed was 2020, right?
The
Like,
label.
when was it getting?
If you look at the definition,
the label has changed.
Yeah, Ethan, look at the definition: diversity, equity, and inclusion. Right?
Okay, so
equity in pay and equity and being a
so
job opportunity.
now that they are getting rid of DEI, like you're saying that disabled people, vets, they won't be included. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying if you're going to do it, and this get rid of everything, and then people really understand what you're talking about because they think DEI is just for minorities. It is not. It's for veterans. And I know you have seen
they were included before before DEI changed to DEI, what it is, what we know today. Before they was included, and they're still included today. So like,
it was started.
They're still going to be included.
So what's the point of getting rid of it? What's the point of
getting rid of it for black? Get rid of it for race.
The negativity of it, like that's what I agree with. So like.
What negativity? What exactly? What negativity are you talking about? Be specific. What negativity are you talking about that make you say we need to get rid of DI because you said it included everything, but then all of a sudden in 2020 it changed. So what happened in 2020 made you say we don't need to have that?
I asked the question, right? Because again, what I said DEI was, is them trying to include all races of people, right? when I believe that they was included before DEI became a thing, correct?
Hold on. But it's not about races. That's what you're not. Let's go back to what he just said. He
So,
just told you it's not about race. It's
Okay,
about
including people, different types of people, whatever. Like
okay.
Again, I don't think disabled people should work in every part of the workforce. I don't think handicap. I think hey, we have to have jobs for them, of course. But like, if you don't have arms, like I don't understand how you're gonna be a cashier. Like those are things like we really can't do those things. Those are certain things that we can do that we can't do. But I don't think it should be forced upon. Well, you got to hire disabled people. Like I don't think so. There are companies that are still going to hire them, of course. But back to what I was asking. It is the inclusion of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying. DEI is to open up the vast majority of people, to open it up to the vast majority of people. So you're saying that our workforce. Let's use like the NBA as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
The NBA.
You're looking too broadly.
Do you believe that there's like a race thing? There is a race thing in the NBA where they're like, oh, we're only going to accept a certain race of people, or do you believe that they are open to the whole America or the world, basically?
Can I answer that? All right, I'm gonna simplify this for you, real. Hopefully, this works for you, Ethan, because I think you're looking at a bigger. Hold on, hear me out. You're looking
I
at a
don't want to
broad picture.
simplify. I just want my question answered.
Hold on, I'm gonna answer your question, but I want you to think about something real quick, right? So before 2020, the big push, a lot of those things weren't being pushed, right? So let's simplify stuff for you, right? You know how when you drive into a parking lot, you pull up to say a Publix, right? And this is in your thought process. So and there you basically telling me that there should be no handicap spots in there, right? Everybody should just be equal. The handicap, there's no first come first serve. And this is your thinking of what DEI shouldn't be, right? Is that would you think that would be a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't see what's the relevancy of the question, bro.
I'm asking
No,
you a question.
he's
And when you go into a
Ronnie,
parking lot and
Ronnie,
you
Ethan
see,
is right. Ronnie,
and
Ethan
you
is
see,
right.
I want to
Ethan's
answer
question.
my
Yeah,
question.
answer
Like
Ethan's
you're
I'm
changing the
just answering your
subject.
question. This is
Okay, but
answering
that's
your
not
question.
relevant to my question. Can we
It
stick
it,
to what
it,
we're
it,
trying
it
to
most
ask?
definitely is. It most definitely is. But you're in a space view, and I'm trying to get you back down to macro.
All
I mean,
right.
I'm trying to
Okay.
get you
Well,
down to small part.
can we talk to somebody that's going to answer my question, please? Like I
This
just
is
want
your
to answer the
question.
question.
I'm answering your question. You're not hearing what I'm
no.
trying to tell you,
So
youngin.
All right.
yeah, go ahead and answer exactly what he said. So Ethan, repeat the question and then let Ronnie go ahead.
So he asked, he says, we think the NBA has do we think they have a racial thing in the NBA? No, we do not. No, they do not have a racial thing in the NBA. However, in one aspect, you can say yes, they do, because if you look at it, how many NBA, what's the makeup of the NBA?
It's 60-70% black.
like
It's
Yeah,
75.
78%.
67. Yeah.
It's 78% black men and everybody else. If you look at
How
the
is that
coaches,
because
hold on. If you look at the coaches, or from the owners to the general managers to the coaches, do you think it will be equal to that or anywhere close to that, where you will have more black coaches, more black general managers, and more black owners? Do you think that should be what it is?
Your
I
answer.
mean, it should represent that, right?
So tell him, Ronnie, your answer is yes. You do believe that there is inequity in DEI
Yeah.
in the
So
NBA.
in one
That's
aspect, listen,
essentially
it
equal.
just depends on how you look at it, right? You can find it in anything. So that answer, did that answer your question?
Did it answer
okay.
Ethan?
So yes. So now I will
Okay.
continue on with.
So I answer your question. Now you
Wait, wait,
answer
wait,
mine.
wait, wait, wait,
So
wait.
But
Let
you're
Ethan
talking.
respond
But
because it is
I
Ethan's
have the
question.
floor, right? And then I
sure,
asked the
go ahead.
Yeah,
question, and
go
Go
then
ahead.
you
ahead.
answer the question. So now it's back to my
Go ahead,
floor,
Ethan.
right?
Yeah, this is your
Okay.
floor. Go ahead, Ethan.
So when you are, do you believe that the NBA should implement DEI?
So hold on. See, this is where now I'm a speak for you, because this is where I think you going into horseshit, Ethan. I'm gonna just be honest with you, simply because you are equating the NBA is about talent. It's about thinking who can project and be better, and this, that, and the other,
Mhm.
right? But what you're doing is you're trying to take a predominantly black, I ain't gonna call it institution, but predominantly black enterprise in and of itself, and then saying we need to just start hiring white folks so that way they can be inclusive.
Okay.
When the NBA is about the talent, and if you can play, you can play. If you can't, you can. And don't get me wrong, there's some nepotism in it. We've all
What?
seen it with Bronny James. So we're not gonna sit here and
Yeah.
say there is no nepotism
No,
in
so I
the
agree.
sport.
I
In and
agree
of
with
itself.
everything you're saying. So why is it different? So let's just say if your workplace is predominantly white, right? Do you believe that they're not looking at resumes and what you bring to the table? You think they're just like, oh, you're white, so therefore
I believe
this is good?
I believe number one, if you're white and you went to school with my kid, you're going to get hired before anybody else do. I will also say this: their pool of resumes are not wide enough, and that's what DEI is about.
Yes.
Explain
Why
that
is it
again,
not?
Bobby.
What
Explain
makes
that
it? What makes it
again.
not wide enough? Because anybody can apply for that job, right?
No, they can't.
Anybody can apply for the. Just because I apply for the job and it gets to the mailroom, don't mean I apply for the job and it's going to be at where the guy that's going to make the hiring or do the interview. Actually, before they got to make the hiring, that's the level rungs down. That don't mean that the person that is actually going to set up the interviews is going to see my interview. That they're going to see my application.
No, I 100% agree with that. But so you're saying that if a black and a white person apply to be an air traffic control, they're going to. There's no way that they're going. I'm just giving a random job.
Okay.
Like, I'm just. It don't. Like, we could pick any job. McDonald's.
Ethan, can we go back to your NBA? Can we go back to your NBA?
Let's go back to
because I think you're assuming that white people are not applying or being evaluated for an NBA job. See, when you say diversity, the NBA.
No. I was going a whole different way with it, but
the NBA. No. NBA is absolutely diverse. They have outreach to find all those players from different countries. That's diversity in itself.
Yeah, I 100%. I think that's why I gave the NBA as an example, because I think it's ran just based off of the excellence that you're given. So that's why I gave the NBA as an example. I'm not arguing with that. I think
that's just the employees.
That's the problem.
That's the employees.
Yes.
You forget there's a whole other level that goes to the NBA, because I knew that's what you were heading for. Oh, they do that. What about the owners? Where's the diversity, equity, inclusion of that? How do you get a team
with the owner? So if we're gonna go off of history, right? How long have these owners been owners?
For how do they become black owners?
How long? No, I agree. How long have their parents been the owners? How do they get those owners?
Inception of the NBA.
Okay,
there's a few.
So they became a time where racism was a big thing, correct?
It still is.
A lot of people became owners then, and then they passed it down to their children, and maybe got sold off to 1 or 2, 3 or 4 different NBA franchises got sold off in today's day of age, right?
So wouldn't it be to other white people? Say it like it is to other white people.
I mean, okay, cool.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have the data, so I don't know.
We can find the data. Would it be to other white people? I'm telling you.
I'm not arguing that point. I don't have the data to say if there's any black owners. I do not know. I can say that I don't know. All I'm saying is obviously there's going to be a majority of white owners since they bought it back in the early 1900s or whenever NBA came around. Since they bought it back then, they keep passing it down. The generation ain't gonna be black, all right?
So what do we
do?
Wouldn't
it be? That's like if I pass my house down to only my generation, they never sold it. It'd be like, well, the 5 generations from now, they still black. Well, clearly.
So have black people been qualified to get to own these teams?
Yes, black people are qualified.
You know why we haven't gotten a team?
It could be a multitude of different reasons, but I'm sure you're gonna say due to race.
Now that's part of it, because somehow the NBA was all white players, but somehow it's predominantly black now, right? So
yes,
we got in there somehow through some diversity, right? So that same diversity that you think they have, they do not have when it comes to higher up ownership.
How often are ownerships flipped? Like how often are ownerships up for sale?
regularly.
How often? Okay, yes, it may happen
Listen,
regularly, but how often are players flipped? Is it as much as is ownerships flipped as much as players?
Oh no, that's in no company.
Okay, that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't.
So
I don't.
obviously, it's going to be easier to get blacks into being players, correct? Because we can, if we get our foot in the door, then players keep dropping. Ownership may take decades for the
But it's
ownerships to
so
I
go
don't.
ahead
you
and
I
just
be
don't
said
like,
even
this was the
care about
1900s,
ownership.
the 1900s for the
Like,
NBA, right? So it's almost a century.
I got them.
okay, again, if I keep passing my house down, they're still going to be black. It could be 100 years, they'll still be black, right?
I think.
So listen, hold on real quick, because you that's I see what you do, Ethan. Right? I got what you're saying, but I don't think. I mean, really, none of us really know how it really goes down. But I can tell you that the owners select people that can buy these teams. That's how it works. It ain't no I can come up with all this money. I'm buying this
Yeah,
team.
I
They
see
got to
that.
get a majority of those. How many owners say yeah they could buy this team? So when a lot of what you don't know is there have been uh, groups of minorities that go out there and say, "Hey, we got the bread. Let us buy a team," and they like, nope, and they give it to people for less money. You know what I mean? Of another hue. You understand what I mean? So what you're saying, you don't really. I think you say stuff just to throw things
No,
out there
no,
just to see.
he
But
believes
hold on. No,
Ronnie.
no,
He
no.
he
So
believes
hold
it.
on. No, he's way off. So let's go back to let's I like to simplify stuff for you because I know you don't have a lot of history in your life, right? So I want to simplify for you, right? So you said that DI is you saying DI is a good or bad thing? I just want to get your stance.
Uh,
It's not good.
No, Ethan.
Yeah.
bad. I said bad.
You say it's bad? Okay.
Yeah,
So remember, I'm gonna simplify you. So remember when the NBA used to be all white people?
He
yeah.
doesn't. He wasn't old enough
No,
yet.
no, 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 no. No, he did. He just talked about it, right? He just said it,
That's me. I
right?
said that.
No, all right. So you remember? Let's go back. So imagine the NBA being all white people,
Yes, I
right?
understand.
And they saying, nope, you can't play for this. You can't play for this franchise because one, you of a different hue. We know you're a better player, but you ain't getting a chance, right? So they don't get it included in the title. Eventually, they say, all right, you know what? Let's do some DEI. Let's do some inclusion. Let's do some diversity, right? This is what the NBA did. Say, you know what? Let's open the pool. Let's look at these guys. Holy shit, they way better than people we got. We hiring them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So after all these years, now the hue of the NBA has changed.
Yep.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think? How do you think those players, those all white players, have probably felt? They like, man, DI suck. That kicked me out of my job. It really pushed them into higher jobs, really, if you think about it, right? So now they don't want to include these better players and these better minds into those higher jobs because they know that their jobs are going to be in jeopardy.
Mhm.
That's what happens. That's why they don't want to include people into things because they feel inferior. A lot of times, the people that are in that diverse group are twice as more qualified.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, you got a criminal and you got somebody that was putting criminals in jail way more qualified, right? And the people, the majority of the country picked a criminal. That should tell you that the society doesn't want that diversity, equity, inclusion because they saying, holy crap, you already got one. If you get this one in, oh, we really ain't gonna get back in this game. It's
Yeah,
a
I don't.
larger piece of this, man.
So
That you're
Ronnie, can I tell
not
you,
recognizing.
Ethan? I
Go
just
go
wanted
go
to
ahead.
tell you
Go
this
ahead.
part of it, Ethan.
Hold on, Ethan, and we're gonna start to shut it down. But go ahead.
Ethan,
Go
I
ahead.
just want to tell you this, sir. I said all of that to get you to the point where you said, it just keeps getting passed down the ownership. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
tell you that because it is the very reason that I said that you're a flat earther. You see everything except systemic racism. You can't see it. You're blind to it. You've seen everything. Ownership goes. White people knows white people friends. You have every excuse except for systemic racism. And I'm trying to help you to understand that is exactly what it is. You're not seeing it. You refuse to see it, but that is exactly what it is because you can see, oh, we got a diverse player. All these players are diverse, Well, why isn't ownership diverse? That's not haphazard. That's not
You asked it, right?
happenstance.
You saying why? It's clear why it's not, but I mean, you view it as racist, so you're gonna view it
No,
as
no, I didn't say
racist.
racist. I said systemic
there are
racism.
Yeah,
there are
it's
times where
systemic racism, right? So like that's how you view that. I just don't view it that way. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I know
But
because
again,
you
if you
cannot
say
see
like
it.
it's a flat earth,
yeah,
then okay.
and I would agree. I would absolutely agree with Keith when he talks about flat Earth because you don't see it. Like if somebody was to tell you that the we had somebody land on the moon, and if you just don't believe it, you just don't believe it, and it is what it is. So it's nothing that anybody that can tell you, regardless of how much it could affect your life. And but that's the difference between somebody laying on the moon and you living your life that you are right now. Because
Mhm.
and that's what Ruben was talking about earlier is you just haven't had that nigga moment yet. Just being honest. You haven't had that yet.
I mean, what
And
is a nigga moment then? Like you guys keep saying
where
it. Like
where,
what's a nigga
where
moment?
a nigga moment is going to be to the point where you bypass all of the things that you have seen and all the excuses that you have
Can
made
you give like
for
a huge
racism.
example to where like I can make sense of
I can't I
there's
can't.
no
Do you know do you know why I can't? Because I can't put a prefaces on what's going to be the moment for you.
Yeah.
Like this is going to
okay,
be the
so let
moment that you say personally, I get it. I can't do that for you because I am not you. But
okay, I understand. So let's just say in 30 years I still didn't have the nigga moment. Like then like I'm still gonna have it. Maybe I'm 99 on my deathbed and I have it. Like what if I just never have it? Then it's was it
then that's you personally. But I promise you this: your kids and your family will continue to have them
so
because
how
they happen.
okay. Well
That-
He
I've
doesn't go
I
talked to
outside
can't
a lot.
speak, huh?
I
He
just
doesn't go
don't
outside a lot.
What do
And
you
I
say
go
again?
outside. I go
he doesn't
outside a
go
lot. I
outside a
have
lot
friends
of his
that go that's in the
of his
communities.
people. It's like if you just stay with your
Hold
people and you're set in your
I
safe.
got, but
His family
how
has
come
provided him
when I don't agree
a
is
very
I'm
safe
young,
network to be around.
ignorant,
hold on.
I'm naive.
Give him a minute,
I'm
Keith.
like,
How comes when you agree you're
hey,
young
what
and
the
you not?
fuck? How come every time I don't agree is oh you haven't had it yet, or you're naive, or you're young, or you're ignorant, or you're blah blah blah. It's like we just
You're
can't
not ignorant.
disagree. Like why is it just like it's
It's
just
not
bullshit?
You're not
it's
ignorant. You're not ignorant at all. I said
I'm not saying that you call it. I'm just saying people it may be people that come on and be like just don't
Mhm.
agree or he just don't know shit. He just gonna believe like it's cool. I really don't care about people's opinions. I'm just saying like why can't we just disagree? Why is it just like oh you're gonna get it one day? Like
because it's dangerous for
because
dangerous
I
spirit.
don't see it that way.
because
And it's like now it's
of
like I don't go outside.
history.
Oh, you don't go outside. Like so now you live in my shoes. Like you just know I don't go
No,
outside.
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
know
no, no,
people. I
no.
don't know this.
It's simple
I
and
have
it's something that you
I have.
it's go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to explain it to you because it's something it's simple and it's something that you fundamentally disagree with, which is it's going to happen to you because and the reason why we are saying this as the people and everybody that's been on this podcast to continue to talk to you is because of history past and present, but you continue to dismiss it. Let me say that again,
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, you continue to dismiss it.
Amen.
So it makes it impossible for you to understand where we're coming from.
So you're saying that not me specific. You're saying the younger generation
No,
haven't had
no, no,
nigga
no, no,
moments.
no, 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 absolutely not. I'm talking about you specifically.
Okay, great. So that's what I'm. Okay, so I have my set of friend groups.
Hmm.
I've talked to other people my age, and we all seem to think very, very similar.
Okay.
Uh, uh, we have not experienced any racist things, and if somebody brings up something like, "Oh, that
Hold on, you
I
got to
think I
preface that.
experienced
I
something
got to
racist."
stop you. I got to stop you because you are prefacing that with everything that happens when somebody call you nigga, you are ready to say happen. That's happenstance. So you can't sit here and tell me that something that is racist is not racist when you don't see something that is racist as racist. So
Yes, so, but
you just can't do that. You just
okay, but
you,
I
That's what
was
I'm
saying,
saying, Ethan. You don't go not
I would say
outside.
my when I'm talking to
Outside your friendship. I'm not saying you don't go outside like outside where the sun is. I'm saying you don't go outside of your comfort group. Now go ahead.
So it's not just me, it's my friend groups that are also flat earthers, right? That's what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
So my friend groups is flat earthers.
Mhm.
And then people that I talk to that are my age, they're also flat earthers. And the people that voted for Trump, we are also flat earthers. Like it's just everybody that disagree with you is a flat earther.
No. Because
Hold on, hold on.
there's
Hold on,
certain
real quick. Yeah. No, you're right, Ethan. And even though there's data, there's scientific data that highlights that it is impossible for the earth to be flat. There are still people that say it's a flat earth. So what we're saying is it's okay if you want to look at the way that you want to look at it, and you say that you want to say to be the way that you want to be the way that you want to be. Just know that the truth is this, and let's out here whenever you ready to
What
understand
makes
it.
that the truth? Because you say it is.
What you mean? What you
but
talking about?
it's
Like,
There's
because like, I would just
it's
say, like, you
systematically been
feel
proven.
you feel as though
It is
something.
life. It is that is
I'm
like
giving
saying
examples.
life isn't life because you say
No,
it's
I'm giving
life.
examples. So you say you feel as though something's racist, right? So that's the truth now. Your feelings are true.
No. I'm talking about history. We're talk and we have consistently
But we're
told
not
you
talking
about
about
history.
history. We're talking about this example, right? So the word of somebody coming up to you and saying somebody
There's
magically
no
calling
there's
you
no word. No.
like
There's no word.
that
There's
is that's racist. That's why I said because I don't see it as racist. Now it's well, that's just your friend group. Like since you can't see stuff as racist, like what makes that racist? Because you feel as though it's racist.
no, the data tells us it's racist. It's just you don't see the data.
I think Ethan,
What our
you would.
data is our lifespans that's telling you that when you experience this specific thing that we've experienced many, many times in our life, that's what that is. And if you say that it's not what it is, okay. As
So
long as
okay,
I tell you,
if you
listen, I'm gonna
have
tell you, listen, I'm gonna tell you
if
that.
you have
Listen, hold on, Ethan. I'm gonna tell you that coffee pot is hot. I don't want you to touch it. But
okay,
a lot of times it's gonna take you, that's what we're trying to tell you. It's gonna take you the time to touch that hot kettle and realize, like, holy crap, that's what they were talking about. That's where you are. You don't understand that kettle is hot yet
okay.
because you haven't
I'll wait
touched it.
for my
And it's
moment.
okay. Listen,
I'll
it's
wait for my
okay to be.
moment.
Listen, Ethan. It's great that you've lived your 30+ years and you have an experience and you have this viewpoint. And we're not telling you that you're wrong in your thing because your life is your life. You know what I'm saying? But we're just trying to let you know, bro, that kettle is hot, bro.
Uh,
Don't touch it.
But Ronnie, Ethan has touched it. He has touched it. In his own example, he said the officer pulled him over. He said that is for
Mhm.
the DV, the DV plates. But if I was to tell you, Ethan, tomorrow that police officer is indicted for pulling over only black people, would then you believe he pulled you over because you were black? Would you then believe it on that data?
Yes.
And that would be racism that's there. Would you believe it exists then?
No, I would
Oh,
believe that again. So
it's just that
what
one.
I am saying, are there racist people? I 100% believe that there are racist people. I've never said that there's racism itself does not exist, and I think that's where the I don't know if that's not clear. Like there are racist people. There are racist people doing racist things, but when I say that it doesn't exist as like a society, I believe that like there what we deal with today or what we call today as racism is not what we dealt with back in actual
Right.
when we were slaves and being
Right.
hung and doing these things. Like it's basically, oh, he made me feel bad or something. Like I don't look at those things as racist. Like, but if that's what you do, then cool. I'm just saying that
Ethan, that's why.
like,
That's why.
I don't
That's
That's
why
a
I say.
agree.
culmination.
That's why I
That's a
say flat.
culmination.
That's why I say flat earther to you because you're not understanding. I believe me personally. I don't know you well. I personally believe you feel that racism is when you to see racism, it has to be somebody hitting us with some on our back, putting us in a cotton field, calling us in where you see old time racism.
It doesn't
You
have to
don't
be
see
that.
you
It
don't
don't
see
have to be that.
recent racism. You don't understand how
I just gave like an extreme example. It don't have
that's
to.
extreme.
Racism in and of itself is bad.
I mean,
Racism in and of
it's
itself is bad.
but
You don't see
if
subtle
you
racism.
racism, like what you feel as though is racism, may not be what the next person feels as though it's racism, right?
That's true.
Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
So if racism can be decide about how it made me feel, then what the fuck is racism?
Okay.
It
So
made you feel something when the guy pulled you over. You excused it.
No, it
So
didn't make me feel anyway. I just give that an example because I know how it could come across, but it didn't make me feel anyway. I was just like, all right, cool.
So
What
I'm
did I do
saying,
wrong?
so on your own example, let me ask you this. I'll tell you that one example on your example. If the police was found to be, he only pulls over black people, then 10 of his mates also get pulled over for that. Is that in itself now, 10 officers now, systemic racism, calculatable, all on paper, 10 officers of this 100 officer thing, that's systemic. Did you understand that that's what systemic racism is?
I still wouldn't say that it is because
Ooh.
that would be a police department, right?
See, that's
Okay.
what
All
I
right.
told you he doesn't
So,
understand.
Yeah.
All right,
Ethan,
go
we're
ahead,
saying-
Easy, and we're gonna shut it down. Go ahead, Easy.
Yeah, we're saying it's a culmination. You're saying that one person can be a racist and say a racist thing, but if you have a group of people saying that, then it's racism. And then if the people have power to control your livelihood or whatever is going on with your life, that is racism and systemic racism. But again, it when it all goes together, when they team up and form Voltron, that's fucking racism, right? One person, yeah, okay, they just got an attitude. But when you have a whole fucking group of people doing the same thing, that is racism. Okay,
I mean,
I'm done.
I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. I just like, again, if you feel because somebody made you feel a way, that's just racism to you.
Yeah,
You felt so.
bigger
If
than
they put you in that, circumstance, if I put you in that circumstance, if they're asking, "Is this your car?" You be like, "Oh, that cop is racist because he's black. I mean, because he's white."
Yo.
So if a black cop came to me and asked, "Is this my car?" Would that be racism?
Yes, he could suffer from the same racism as he's
Yes.
in the coach. That's why I'm glad you asked. I knew you're gonna get there. So now that's when it becomes systemic. It's a system of racism. That white cop was racist, and the black cop was racist. It's a whole system of
Okay,
racism.
so if it's
That's what we mean.
that's the case, so if you're saying the system, like if a black cop is going to be racist to a black person and a white cop going to be racist to a black person, right?
Yeah.
So why is it when a white person says nigga and a black person says niggas, we look at that as different? When a black person says, "Is this your car?" and a white person says, "Is this your car?" It's the same.
It's because how, like you just said, he asked you twice. And how he asked you and all that stuff. It's not just a simple saying it. It's how.
So
he said it.
yeah, but okay, so have you not asked somebody a question that you think maybe they didn't understand the question that you said?
Regardless, it still comes to how they said it. So you can't just say somebody says the N-word and N-word. It's how. So don't just say that because they asked you twice.
So okay, but how did the police officer ask me though?
You said he asked you twice. Are you sure that's your car? So somebody say nigga or nigger, two different ways, right? How they said it. What's up, my
So
nigga?
if they said it in a polite way, now it's fine.
Now, it matters. Does it not matter?
It does
it not
matter.
matter?
But I'm gonna say this: like you can be black, and then I can tell when you even being racist to me. Like I done been stopped. I ain't gonna be stopped. I say stop. I done been fucking frisked on a corner by black police officers, and I knew they were doing that shit because we sitting on the corner and we black. You get what I'm saying? Like,
why do you know that?
He
It's just like your
He
opinion.
does not know that. He does not know that. So he does not understand that, Bobby.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking. Like, why do you know for a fact like that's why they frisked you?
Because I was on 7th Street and they can go to 10th Street and see the same white boy sitting on the same doing the same thing on the same corner and they don't stop them.
So because they didn't. Okay, I'm not trying to challenge them.
I'm telling you why.
So,
that is why.
Okay,
because
so
they
you're
can
saying
do that
like because you're on, let's say 7th Street and they're on 10th Street and they happen to be going by on 7th Street and they pull you over or they frisk you because they're on the 7th Street. They only went on 7th Street because they knew black people was on the 7th Street. They ain't going to 10th Street because they knew white people was on the 10th. That's how you view like what the
That's
world.
not how I view. That's how it went.
100%.
No, I know, but I'm saying like that's not like because they didn't go down to 10th Street makes them now racist because they went down to 7th Street and because you're black. That's why they chose to go down 7th Street because you're black.
Yes.
Okay. I just don't see it like that. But
exactly
I
because
don't.
because
That doesn't make
because
sense to
you
me. But if that's how
dismiss
you choose
because
to work it out,
you
cool.
dismiss the race the you dismiss anything that has to do with race and like V said earlier, Vanessa said earlier, you are it's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
What
It's
makes it dangerous?
completely and utter. What makes it dangerous is you make it okay. You make it okay for them to treat us with apartheid because that's what it is. That's what Jim Crow was. Jim Crow was no different than apartheid, and you make it okay to say, "I don't see it. We're cool. I'm cool with it."
He's convinced himself that the officer randomly came down to the 7th Street. That's what he.
No,
That's why. That's why he dismissed.
Okay, so are you there? Are you out on 7th Street every single day?
could have been. I mean, like,
Okay, but
that's my
all
neighborhood. So
hypothetical.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hold
all
on,
we
hold on.
stand out there.
hypothetical.
Here's a better
So
question. Hold on. Here's a better question, Ethan. Real quick. And you say you live in the Birds, right? You live in the Birds, correct?
what?
You
Suburbs.
live in the
I don't
Suburbs.
suburbs.
This gonna be the last question. We're gonna shut
Just
it
real
down,
quick.
y'all.
Yes.
Okay, so say you and your friend walking in the mall. Say it's a white guy, and y'all walking down in the mall, and you see a cop, and you see a police officer walking opposite of your direction. Do you think that your friend feels like you feel with that cop coming towards you?
You don't feel
No, no, no,
you
no. I want you to answer that question. Do you
Do I
think that?
feel?
Do you think your friend has the same that feeling I'm trying to tell you that you got to listen to? Do you think that
What
friend has the
feeling?
same
What feeling?
feeling as you with that police officer when I ain't did nothing walking towards
Yeah,
you in the opposite direction?
100%. Like we feel the exact
100%
same.
what?
Feel the exact. I like. How am
Yeah,
I
they feel
and
the
I
supposed
same
to?
believe
way.
that.
They feel the same
I
way, right?
believe that. I
I believe that.
How am I
believe that.
supposed?
He
I
What am
believe
I
can't
that.
be. He
supposed
not
to feel?
serious.
Yeah, he's
No,
serious.
no, no,
Nah,
no, no, Ronnie,
He's serious,
I'm scared.
Ronnie.
So
He
I'm
is
scared of the
absolutely
police officer.
serious.
I'm confused.
Yeah,
He's
he's
I
serious,
dealt
Ronnie.
with
absolutely
police officers
serious.
all the time. Like, what am I?
Yeah,
Why am I
he's
scared of the
absolutely
police?
serious.
Yeah,
He's
see,
absolutely
he's
serious.
serious, Ronnie.
He's absolutely
We
serious.
have
Yeah,
a whole different experience, Ronnie.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
let him have his
You got,
experience.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But that's why
yeah.
I say
Can't
it's a
hear
lot
you.
to unpack, Bobby. Thank you for
And,
this again, my man. I'm telling you.
yeah, and I want to continue it on. I know Ruben had to go. Ethan, if you want to talk next week, we can, and I can push my other stuff to back that I want to do because it is a lot to unpack, and I know you're going to go back in and you want to dissect this whole pod. You're welcome to it, and we can go into the dissection next week if you want to. That's up to you. Just let me know in the next day or two, so that way I can prepare for next week, and then we continue on. But yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree that Ethan doesn't he doesn't see it that way, and
I am glad. I'm glad that he doesn't see it that way at some
yeah,
portion.
absolutely,
But I want Ethan to
absolutely,
know either way. If it does happen, if it does, people like me, Bobby, Ronnie, all these people, we are here for you. So
absolutely.
either way, we're not mad at you. Gonna throw you out.
Mm-mm,
So
mm-mm,
if it does, this is your community. Come here and you have
Absolutely.
support, my man.
Yes,
absolutely,
sir.
absolutely.
Okay. I
Yeah,
hope it happens. I don't
No,
know.
no, that's 100%.
yeah,
That's not no. We don't talk like that, Ethan.
yeah.
That's real
No, I
talk.
mean I
Yeah,
Yeah,
100% agree.
we
I'm
are
just
all
saying, like,
a community. We are all
I
yeah,
family. We
hope
are all
100%.
I
family.
hope it
We are all
happens.
family.
I'm one to always take challenges head on. Like I want to see what you guys are talking about. But
Yeah.
in my opinion, nothing that I can do that a white person can do. That's just how I view it.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll continue this on. So now we're gonna go to clean our palate, and we're gonna clean our palate on today's thing because nobody has hit me up with what we're gonna clean our palate on. So we're gonna clean it up onto one of my granddaughters that I'm gonna go see tomorrow, Leia. She just graduated uh uh preschool and she's going into kindergarten. So as well as my daughter Locker. I hope you're still watching. My daughter Locker just graduated from college with her degree as well. And it's degree season. It's degree season. And I appreciate everybody for coming on. Again, we always try to end on a good note. We always want to clean our palate. So that's what we do. I appreciate you, Ethan. Thank you for coming on, Keith. Everybody that that came on, that will continue to come on. I appreciate that. If this is your first time watching, please come back. We love you guys. And we're gonna see you guys next time. All right. Peace out.
Okay. Peace out.
Peace.